The 8th seed in the West, that one also on ESPN. The playoffs start Saturday. ESPN's Tim Bontemps doesn't see a long run for the Lakers.
I just think there's too many things working against this Laker team. You've got the potential injury issues with LeBron and AD. You've got the wear and tear on LeBron in particular. We saw how tired he was at the end of that Minnesota game. He had to expend so much energy just to beat the Wolves.
Tim Bontemps on KJ and Max. The Bucks are now the betting favorite to win it all at plus 275. The Lakers are plus 1,400. The NHL regular season ends tonight. The Avalanche and Stars are both in the playoffs. The Avs clinch the Central Division title with a win in Nashville tonight. Otherwise, the Stars win the division. The Penguins today fire team president Brian Burke and GM Ron Hextall.
Coming up Monday, I'll tell you which team is already in trouble after losing Game 1 of their series. Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, Monday morning, 6 Eastern. ESPN Radio, ESPN2, ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
Louisiana boy, yeah, they call him the Riot. Born and raised in the swamps, on the fight like a tiger. He going beast mode, baby, he a beast though. What you think he supposed to do? You pitch a better reload. Get the point.
After further review, the Riot Radio Hour with Matt Moscona and Ryan Theriot.
Well, how's your week going?
Week was good.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, but good. I'm full of good ideas.
On ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Here comes Theriot. The throw, not in time. Delivers and the Giants lead 4-3 in the 10th.
The wave pool, although probably full of bacteria, flesh-eating parasites, and the occasional turd, provides endless hours of fun. It's not cool to have a 30A sticker on the back of your grocery go-getter. Big fan of the truck.
The Riot Radio Hour.
Around start. He heads for home. Here's the throw. He is safe. Tigers win. He on third and about to finish. Please, let's go.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
And Theriot. Right. Yeah, let's go. Well, we're here. Glad you are as well. You. Hey, right. I was going to do Mr. Toby Tomplay because that's typically what I do here in hour one. But Theriot threw everything for a loop because the Dunham Tigers have moved their game time. I thought for sure you'd come in here in full uniform.
It's in my truck. But, I mean, I'm rocking the Haspel, which we'll talk about later. So that's kind of, I just wanted to let the people know. LSU's playing tonight, so I went with the nice little purple LSU piece.
Okay. They played last night, 2 and 1.
I feel good.
That was good.
Hold on. Let me change. I got to change my face real fast to my LSU face.
Let me see it. I mean, do you feel so cool right now? I mean, I can't believe this is where we are. So Theriot is changing the face on his Apple Watch. Was this a gift from the Easter Bunny?
Yeah. We just, Jonna wanted one, and then I just felt kind of like left out. I'm going to be honest with you. There we go.
The audience doesn't really need to have you just change your watch face on air. That's fine.
I mean,
it looks awesome.
Yeah.
Looks really good. You went with the giant supersized face.
With the purple on it.
Yeah, it looks so good.
Easter Bunny brought it to me. So
Easter Bunny. All right.
Burned about 600 calories yesterday working out. The reason I know that, Apple Watch told me.
Got it.
Got the heart rate up pretty good, so that was a plus.
Huh.
Still working on the sleep app thing.
I worked out at Traction today. I've already burned 770 calories.
Winning.
How about that? Got it. Had a really good workout today. Felt good about it. Friday morning, what were you doing? Sleeping in? Nope. Working out at Traction.
Young Tev.
That's what happened. Young Tev got him. LSU baseball wins game 1 against Kentucky 16-6. 16-6 was the final in that one in 8 innings. Tigers a walk-off winner. Muse, we are one run rule away from you owing me a very expensive steak dinner.
Not you.
Yes.
No.
Theriot, how do you feel about this? So I was gone. Muse had Cartwright on the show. Cartwright? They had a bet about if LSU would have, they set the over-under, I think, at 11.
11.
Run rules.
It's a big number.
And they're one away.
I thought so.
They're one away. Cartwright said over. Cartwright? Muse said under. They're one away from the overhitting. Well, Cartwright was on the show earlier this week. Cartwright? Had no idea about this bet. And because it happened on my show, Cartwright was like, "Oh, well, you come in on it. You get the bill."
That's not what happened.
That's what happened.
That is not what happened.
And so basically, when LSU has one more run rule, Muse will lose, and he'll owe me and Cartwright a very expensive dinner.
No, he wedged himself into this bet. He was not here when the bet was made. He can go to the dinner, but he's not part of the bet.
But Alden doesn't want his dinner, though.
I'm sorry?
Oh, no, he does.
He does want it.
Yeah,
Yes.
I owe him dinner for one more run rule. That's the thing.
But I'm in on it now as well. I was welcomed into it, and it happened on my show. So you use the show as the vehicle.
I agree with Muse. I don't think. Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, I mean, he kind of just like, I want to go.
Yeah,
that's
how
you can
go.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Sure.
I really don't care what your opinion
I know that.
is.
I mean, but
this isn't, as I said, whatever day that was. This isn't a radiocracy. This is a radiotatorship. That's what this is. I make the rules.
Tater chips. I like tater chips.
I like tater chips as well.
They're very good.
How's the rest of your week gone?
Going great.
Yeah?
It's going really good.
Good.
Yeah,
I'm glad to hear that.
The whole week post-Easter, really good. You know, LSU sports is in just such a wonderful spot right now. Shout out Scott Woodward. Attaboy. Good work. You're the best out there.
Baby.
Nobody better. And then all the boosters dropping huge coins. Shout out to you guys, too. Couldn't do it without you.
Are they doing that? I don't know that they're doing it.
I don't know.
I don't think they're doing it.
Okay, well, then where are we getting our money from?
What money?
Oh, okay. Well, then shout out to however you're doing it, Scott. Stay hot.
Oh, you mean like for the coaching hires?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought you meant like an NIL.
Yeah.
That's not happening at a huge level.
Yeah. Well, good. So we're winning. Anyway,
Yes.
Something popped up on social media this week, and then it was stirred around a little bit by one our most recognizable alum at LSU, and I'd like to talk about it.
I know where you're going with
the top
this.
10 all-time LSU athletes list.
Okay, here we go.
I'd like to talk about that. So, dear greatest athlete in LSU history debate. Just to the debate.
You're talking to the debate. Okay, not to Shaq or to Angel Reese. You're just talking.
No.
You're not talking to Pistol Pete. You're not talking to Joey B.
Just the debate.
Just the debate. Got it.
Because a lot of people have chimed in on this.
Have they?
Yeah.
I was at Traction this morning, and Mac Chiuili chimed in on it.
Of course. He loves
He loves
This
it.
is one of his favorite debates. In order to have a legit list of athletes, we first have to determine what constitutes an athlete. Okay? While this topic could be highly debated, I think we can all agree that running and jumping should be at the top. No? Okay. If you're asking me, fast twitch movements are pretty important as well. Starting and stopping, that type of stuff. Change of direction, if we're talking about an athlete. Pure athleticism, not tied to any particular sport, is probably best defined as a person who possesses all of those skills and can perform them at an elite level. Running, jumping, starting, stopping, fast twitch, change of direction.
Okay.
When I say elite, I mean the best in his or her sport. In other words, like Caitlin Clark, for instance, she can shoot her butt off. Maybe one of the best shooters in college basketball, both men and women, but does that make her an elite athlete? I say no. Another criteria to consider is the ability to excel in multiple sports. Any 2 or 3 sport player must possess the ability that crosses over. For example, an elite sprinter who runs track can also start and stop on the football field, backpedal, and maybe even change directions at a high level. The 2-sport athlete is much more impressive than the single-sport athlete. So what's the most athletic positions Matt, on the court, the field, or the track? Let's start there. Take away all of the fandom and bias and focus on what positions or competitions are the most difficult. Okay? You're a football guy. In football, I say defensive back. And it's not even a question. You have to start and stop. You have to backpedal. You have to chase people down. And you have to jump. In basketball, I think it's the point guard. You must defend in the open court. Again, you must be efficient going forward as you are backwards. And your fast twitch has to be off the charts. In baseball, and softball, I guess, it's tough. Shortstop and center field are a close 1 and 2 for me, but because of the many responsibilities that come with playing on the dirt, shortstop wins it out. Okay. A sprinter goes in one direction. So those guys are out. Any big, like if you rush the passer, if you get rebounds, or you play first base, or you're a catcher, you're out. That's too easy. There's not enough variables in that job. Okay. All that being said, there's a difference between being an athlete and being a skilled athlete. We can make a case for shooting a basketball, throwing a football, hitting a baseball, or softball being extremely difficult skills to master. The most difficult being hitting a moving ball with a round bat. Skill. There's no debate. Don't even try it. Okay.
Golf.
Couple all of the ball's not moving. Couple all of that with my first criteria, with the high-level skill, and you've got the best athlete in LSU history. Who is?
Angel Reese.
Alex Bregman. I promise he could play basketball and not embarrass himself. He could play defense at a high level because he can run and jump. He can definitely throw a football, and he can run a route. Right behind Alex, close second for me, it's a tie. Jared Mitchell and Chad Jones. Just use the old Google machine. You'll see what I'm talking about. Third, Lolo Jones. If you think Angel Reese is a better athlete than Lolo Jones, then you're a moron. Ben McDonald is fourth on my list as he played in the Final Four, and then he pitched in an SEC game the next week. That'll never happen again. Big Ben, you got number 4. Fifth, shocker, made my list here, but fifth, Josh Booty. Played in the Major League Base, played the MLB, has a World Series ring, retired, played college football, then played in the NFL. Come on, what are we talking about? 6, Odell, football, baseball, basketball, soccer. A guy can do it all on an elite level. If he wasn't such an idiot, I'd have him ranked higher, but he does stupid stuff. But his ability to play any sport at an elite level gets him the 6th spot, okay? 7th, and this one's interesting because I know a lot of people talked about this. 7th is a tie between Haley Bryant and Reagan Corville. The amount of balance, strength, speed, and body awareness it takes to be an elite gymnast is mind-blowing. If y'all really think Shaq and Joey B could last 1 second on the beam, again, you're a moron. 8th, Chris Jackson.
Could either of them throw a football or dunk a basketball? No.
Probably. That's a skill, though. It's not being an athlete. That's a skill.
Doesn't matter.
That's a skill. 8th is Chris Jackson. 8th is Chris Jackson.
The whole point of this. How long is this list, by the way?
I've got 10. Okay. Chris Jackson, best point guard in the LSU history. When college basketball was an all-out brawl every night. This guy broke record after record. Played defense at a high level. He's number 8. 9, Honey Badger. Fight me. He should be higher, but whatever. He's great. And then 10th, Simone Augustus. I think basketball is a really, really hard sport to play. She did it at a high level. Look at her accolades, and she's got a statue. And she's from Baton Rouge. There's a little bias there. Shaq was just a big giant. Okay, that's it. Joe was super smart. Pete could really shoot, but their teams never won anything. Mondo puts a stick in the ground and then has the balls to jump really high with it. Like, he's just putting a stick in the ground. He's got the balls to go and fall and maybe kill himself, maybe not. Does it make him a great athlete? I don't think so. Angel is great, but the jury is still out. Come talk to me in a couple years. Sincerely, Ryan.
Oh, thank God that's over. Lists are so stupid. You completely missed the point. All right, it's AFR. We'll talk about real stuff next.
AFR.
Actually, we probably won't talk about real stuff next. We'll do kick rocks and probably not talk about real stuff for a while. All right, brought to you by Clegg's Nursery. 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. Seaganeer Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. You know where to find them, at Clegg's Nursery. Been serving Baton Rouge for 60 years. You want hydrangeas?
I like hydrangeas.
Got them. Want dippledinas?
Mm-hmm.
Got them. You want Peggy Martin roses?
I don't even know what those are, but
there
I like
you got
them.
Yeah. They're named after Peggy Martin.
Okay.
Got them at Clegg's. I really, really, really encourage you. Follow Cleggs on their social media, particularly Facebook, because whenever they get new shipments of things, that's where they'll update. Like they'll take pictures of the pallets of whatever's coming in, and they'll put them on their Facebook page. So you can see what's new and what's there and what selections there. It's critter season. Skeeters, bugs all over the place now in the spring. You want to take care of them critters?
I like critters.
But not when they're invasive and intrusive.
Oh, yeah.
Cleggs can help. Cleggs Nursery.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, anytime. Hunt Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's that time again. It's heating up. Your boat's getting ready to come out and spend all summer on the water. It's time to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service, where if you want an incredible custom speaker install, it's going to blow people away in the water, that's there for you. You want an HD sonar where you can see the fish under the water before you cast, beat all your friends, that's there for you at front-to-back boat service. So don't put it off. We got the parts in right now. Get them now before they go back on back order. Front-to-back boat service.
The world's leaders in obesity research, obesity medicine, and obesity science are right here.
We're doing something that no one's ever done, or trying to answer a question that no one's ever asked before.
Pennington is a real jewel when it comes to research.
We are finding the solutions to the world's worst chronic disease, which is obesity. Louisiana needs Pennington Biomedical.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $15,000 off all new 2022 1500 SCA trucks. And all new Bayou automotive vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all of that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
We'll get to a recap of the LSU-Kentucky game last night. We'll get Terriot's thoughts on a preview of tonight and tomorrow here in about 10 minutes from right now. LSU basketball did land a commitment from a 7-footer, a transfer from Nevada. So Matt McMahon starting to roll a little bit here in the transfer portal. They got work to do to rebuild this roster at LSU. But Cam Hayes entered the transfer portal today, so it's 7 players in the portal. But Tigers did add Will Baker, 7-footer out of Nevada, to go along with Jordan Wright, Jalen Cook, a couple of local kids, and as we mentioned as well, Carlos Stewart, a Dunham kid who spent the last 2 years at Santa Clara. He's in the portal. He's visiting LSU's campus this week, and as I've said, I expect he will end up a Tiger. He's got offers from a lot of people, but Matt McMahon has a chance to close and get Carlos Stewart here as well, which would be massive. That would be a massive, massive deal if they get him to campus. So
I watched him play a lot.
At Dunham.
Super explosive.
Explosive.
I mean,
and the other thing about, and when that happens, we'll talk deeper about it. His reputation is just he's a. I don't want to use like offensive language. I don't want to say it like he's a killer, but like he's just that dude that is like the way I said earlier in the week was like he'd dunk on his mom, like just to win a game. It's he's just motivated by winning. It's not all the ancillary stuff. It's winning and getting to the next level and best position, all that sort of stuff.
Well, and he wears the goggles too. I mean, and let's be honest, any athlete at a high level that wears the goggles, it gives you a little edge.
Okay.
It just does. Chris Sabo.
Horace Grant.
Horace Grant.
Would you go Sabo or Horace Grant?
I would probably go.
See, I feel like Chris Sabo got mocked.
What's the guy? Hold on. There was a basketball player. Nope, baseball. Ron Karklevice, baseball player.
Ron Karklevice.
He wore real glasses.
And I'm going to tell you this, too.
He didn't even think about this.
Not even messing around.
He wore glasses.
A lot of guys wore glasses back in the day.
What a gangster.
Now what you do is you call Dr. Blake Williamson and you go have LASIK and you don't ever wear glasses again. I mean, that's what everybody should do.
And you lose your edge, though.
By the way, that you do. That's true. But there's Carlos Stewart at Santa Clara. No goggles.
What?
So, yeah, no goggles.
I don't like it.
Headband, no goggles.
I don't like it.
So
he needs to go put the goggles back.
Your Dunham days. Maybe he went and saw Dr. Blake Williamson and had LASIK. I don't know. I need to ask Dr. Blake if he did. He might have. I don't know.
Oh God, he dunked on so many people.
If is it fair to say that if you ditch the goggles, you can kick rocks?
Yeah.
It's time to Kick Rocks with Ryan Theriot.
Kick Rocks.
Presented by Ruckus. Kick Rocks with shoes from Ruckus. Jones Creek Road in Baton Rouge. Or go to ruckus103.com.
Tom Brady can kick rocks. That's a standing kick rocks, but this one's
a perpetual kick rock.
Kick Rocks.
Did you prepare?
Yeah. Okay, you can kick rocks for being a middle midget.
Kick rocks.
Costing your team 4 points.
They can kick a whole bag of rocks for that.
Get on down the road and kick rocks.
Locked in on the Masters Sunday.
You did lock in on the Masters?
I did. We were in New Iberia. Huge. You got the video.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a while. But
okay.
So we're in New Iberia for Easter, and to escape some of the madness that was going on, went inside. Brother-in-law's got a big, giant TV, because he's rich, and so I'm locked in on the.
Good for him.
Well, it's not hard to be rich in New Iberia. Let's be honest.
In the Berry?
Yeah. But anyway, I want Brooks Koepka to kick rocks.
Okay.
Kick rocks.
You had it.
And you blew it.
Okay? And then I want to tell the Masters to kick rocks, although I kind of like it, but I think it would be much better if they weren't paired up together.
If who weren't paired up?
Koepka and Ron.
Well, it's just the leaders at the...
Yeah, I know, but
it's just how the groupings go on the final day.
I know, but I didn't like that. I wanted them to be separate. I didn't like that. But I will say this: shout out to the Masters. The first time I've really locked in on it. I watched Koepka crumble for the U.S. Attaboy, stay hot. And the Live Tour too. God, what drama that would have created had he won.
That would have been really good.
That would have been so good.
Or Phil. Phil made a nice rally, right?
Nickeltits was coming. I mean, he was. Can we talk about him for a minute? How he's turned the clock back?
It's your hour. Do what you want.
Dude, he has turned he looks great. He must be going over to aesthetic or something. He looks good.
Yeah.
He had a little color going. The hair was good, in shape.
Little Botox.
Some bow. He had some Botox, and he got better as the tourney went on. He might have got his levels checked. Anyway,
I don't know that they would allow that.
I don't know. Maybe not. Regardless, he looked great. Shout out. And then Tiger stinks still. Whatever.
Yeah, Tiger's done. You got to stop with the Tiger. I mean, the guy can't walk anymore. God bless him. I mean,
he's a stop.
The greatest golfer ever. But
just go play putt-putt.
Yeah.
Okay, Brooks. So, and Lamar Jackson can kick rocks. Just go play football.
Kick rocks.
Sign, go play football. Be really, really good.
What?
I get it. I understand the whole deal. That he's gonna make a ton of money. He
How can you say that?
This whole
you
thing.
went through arbitration. You understand the importance of getting to that second contract.
But this started
before that. It's your chance to get your bag. No,
this started way before.
That?
This started way before that when he decided not to have an agent. So this is why you
that's
kick rocks.
stupid. Okay. I'm with you on this.
Had he done what you're supposed to do and get an agent to do this and start preparing for this, they would never be in this situation.
Okay, good point. That I agree with, but I don't mind him fighting for his money to get the best contract possible.
Because
I mean, this is right. I mean, in the NFL, your second contract is your break the bank contract. And then the third contract, typically you're in your 30s, and so you're going to get a lesser deal. It's very rare that you get an even bigger third contract. Just very seldom happens. So he's got it. This is his opportunity.
No, it is.
This is his generational money opportunity. You gotta be diligent.
But this whole deal was lost, 4 years ago.
That I agree.
But anyway, I can't turn back the clock there, Matt.
No, you can't.
No, Gordy.
That's a rule.
Gordy Rush can kick rocks.
Oh.
Flynn
Kick rock.
can kick rocks. So I'm leaving
Kick
today
rock.
with a cigar in his mouth as I sat knocking on the door trying to get in. Nobody would let me in.
Oh.
And,
Well, Gordy's not here. He's on vacation this
Flynn
week.
rolls the window down, just chunks up a deuce, with and I'm like nobody's answering the door.
Oh.
Lady Jag was there, but she was doing something, and I'm stuck. So I
Were you at the front door or the side door?
I was at the front.
Okay.
So I'm going to revisit this. I need to get a badge.
A key card.
A key card so I can come in. Okay? I need your help with that. You're the program director. Okay? You run the show.
I am the program director. I am not, however, the HR director, which is Danielle Hill, who would handle such things.
I'm willing to do it. I'll do the drug test. I'll do the background check. I'll do the whole. I had to do it to be a coach, right? So I got all my paperwork. I'm good. Promise. It's not that. What if I came late? That would hurt your show. That would hurt your program. That would hurt ratings.
Or what if you actually showed up early enough to where someone could let you in, and it's not a problem where you're running up here in the last second? How about that novel idea?
I wasn't,
actually be a few minutes early.
I was here. I've been here. I was here at 2:30.
Oh, so where were you?
I was writing my letter in the car.
Sitting in the car. Why didn't you come up? You could have come and hung out in the office.
I didn't want to get disturbed.
I
was
looked
locked
out
in.
the window and I saw your big old truck in the parking lot. I was like, oh, good, he's here.
Yeah.
And I thought you might be downstairs. I was hoping you'd come chat, and you didn't. I needed to talk to you.
I need a key card. Okay, so we got two needs. You needed to talk to me. I need a key card. It's enough is enough. 12 years. Muse, how long you been here?
That'll be 5 in September.
You got a key card?
Yeah, but I'm actually an employee.
Polly, how long you been here?
6 years.
6 years. You can combine those two guys. I've been coming up here longer than that.
Yeah, that's true.
And
you know what? They work here. You don't.
Yeah, I do. I take this seriously. This is a job for me. I take this seriously. I might not get paid accordingly. I am all in on this. I'm in.
You're literally supposed to be here from 4 to 6 p.m. one day a week. You texted me earlier today to say, sorry, boss man, coming up there from 3 to 4 today. So don't tell me you take this seriously.
I take it serious enough.
This is an afterthought for you. This is a side piece for you. This is the bay that you text at 2:30 in the morning when you need a little something. I'm just saying, no. I'm not saying you do it right now. I'm just describing, I'm illustrating what this is to you. That's what this is to you.
Not. That's wrong. I've been thinking about this.
You're not, this is not the thing you marry. This is the thing that you just have a little fun. And if it's here, it's good. If it's not, whatever.
Serious for me.
Always got your eye on something better.
No.
This is not a serious relationship.
Very serious.
No, it's not.
I'm committed.
Not at all.
I've never gone on another radio station. I haven't cheated on you guys.
That is a complete and utter lie. You have gone on another show on this station
but not consistently.
on the same day that you come on this show.
But not consistently, though, like this.
It's happened
just
before.
Just a hit. You do it too, though.
So, let me be very clear about something. Oh, I'm sorry, babe. It was just this one little hit. Just one time. It's not consistent. It was just this one time I stepped out on you. No big deal.
Oh, man. That was good. That was good.
Got him.
Oh.
You're red-faced. You know I got you.
That was good.
We're brought to you by Ruckus. Kick Rocks is... You know what? You can kick rocks. And I just sent Danielle Hill an email to try to get you a key card. You can still kick rocks.
Ruckus.
Go to Ruckus. Oh, those are so sweet.
Yeah, just a little jean piece from Ruckus. You know
I
what I mean?
love them, dude. They're so good. I got on the Court Visions. Actually, they're similar to yours, but I got on... Wait, hang on. I'll show you.
Let's see them.
Hey. I got on... I just went clean today. Classic Court Visions. White with the black swoosh. Black Nike on the back right there.
I really like those.
They're very clean. It goes with anything. Just a classic style. Goes with anything. Comfortable. Get tons of compliments on them. Ruckus is the best. I'm going to be honest, though. I got to do better. I got to set my notifications on Instagram because they had a drop. they had the sets up on Dunk Low earlier this week, and I missed it. Like, by the time I saw it, look, check those out. Check the scroll. Check this out. They're so fire, too, and I wanted them, and I was like, oh, I'm going. And then they updated several hours later, and it was like, edit, sold out. So, got to be on it, man. Go follow Ruckus, RUKUS 103 on Instagram. Set your note. Like, I got to set my notifications for Ruckus. Look, I just hit the bell.
When you get a notification, let me know. I mean, I want to.
No, I'm not.
Okay, I don't know how. I don't do Instagram though.
Okay, that's your problem.
I need to talk to Ronnie about that.
Anyway, I wanted that pair of shoes badly, and that's the second drop now of their last 2 drops. That's the second time there was one I wanted that I didn't get. You go to the releases tab at the website. I wanted these too, the Nike SBs, the Fly Streetwear. They're gone. I missed them. Like,
when's the next one? Go back. I like the cherry. Can we get those?
Where?
The Dunk Low cherries.
August 24th. That was of 2022. These are old. That's an old drop. Those are good too. God, those SBs are so
Look at that cherry pie.
Anyway, y'all check them out. Ruckus 103 on Jones Creek.
Face in that pie.
Ruckus103.com. RUKUS103.com. Kick rocks from Ruckus. I love Ruckus.
So good.
So good. All right, let's talk LSU baseball. They beat Kentucky last night. You did talk to Gavin Dugas last night. I don't mind saying that publicly. Theriot will give you a from the horse's mouth update when we come back. Stay here. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by New Orleans Flooring. Get to NOLAflooring.com or just go buy New Orleans Flooring. Buy where the pros buy. Maybe you're a remodeler. If you're a flipper, if you're an investor, maybe you own an investment property. You're a remediation company. If you need to do flooring and your bottom line matters to you, because of course it does, you need to get the best products you can at the cheapest price possible, because that's always going to impact your bottom line. We'll go to New Orleans Flooring. Buy where the pros buy. Or if you're just a residential homeowner, you own your own home and you want to replace the carpet, the floor, the tile, whatever it may be, wood, laminate, they got you. And you're going to save roughly 40% on the same products you'd get at other stores because they cut out the middleman. That's New Orleans Flooring, and they're expanding their property there at the Prairieville location to be able to take on even more inventory. It's at New Orleans Flooring. Buy where the pros buy at New Orleans Flooring. Get to NOLAflooring.com.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hey, it's Matt Musso. Join me Monday through Friday for your daily update on LSU baseball with Musso at the Box, presented by New Orleans Flooring. Wherever you get your podcast, Apple, Spotify, Google, and check out New Orleans Flooring. 2 locations, Metairie and Prairieville, or NOLAflooring.com.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $15,000 off all new 2022 1500 SCA trucks. And all new Bayou automotive vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
For over a century, local broadcasting has evolved with the needs of the community. We move past the stigmas of opinion journalism and bring the most relevant news online, on air, and on the go. You have trusted us with your news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Trust us to keep moving with you. Text TD to 52886 and tell Congress local broadcasting is here to stay.
Clash of the Cooks Jambalaya Showdown is back.
Join us on Saturday, April 22nd
at the Ochsner Medical Complex at The Grove. We've got cooking teams of pros and joes serving up their best jambalaya and Cajun Creole dishes, all while helping raise dough for local families battling cancer. Bring the whole family for great food, live tunes, and good times. Clash of the Cooks Jambalaya Showdown, presented by Ochsner.
Saturday, April 22nd at lunchtime. Help us paddle it forward. For tickets and more information, go to clashofthecooks.com.
All right. Hey, what's up, y'all? It's that time again. It's heating up. Your boat's getting ready to come out and spend all summer on the water. It's time to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service, where if you want an incredible custom speaker install, it's going to blow people away in the water, that's there for you. You want an HD sonar where you can see the fish under the water before you cast, beat all your friends, that's there for you at Front to Back Boat Service. So don't put it off. We got the parts in right now. Get them now before they go back on back order. Front to Back Boat Service.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walker.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Theriot with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Theriot and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call.
Bounce with the tuba now, that ain't it. I do the jubilee, oh, we made that it. Shake, baby, shake, baby, shake, 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 baby, shake, baby, shake, shake, shake. Twerk, baby, twerk, baby, twerk, 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 baby, twerk, baby, twerk, twerk, twerk. Stop, shake it, watch it, twerk it, pause, now stand up tall, yeah, yeah. I do the jubilee, oh, do the jubilee, oh, do the jubilee, do the jubilee.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, LSU wins game 1, 16-6. They run rule Kentucky last night. Paul Skeens with 13 strikeouts. It was really interesting. I usually shrug your shoulders. You know what was interesting about the game is they gave him an 11-1 lead. And so it was just very clear, like, there just wasn't as much max effort. There didn't need to be.
Yeah.
Right? When you're pitching with that big of a lead. But the Kentucky batters started chirping a little. And Paul Skeens in the 5th got very pissed off and decided he was going to turn it back on, and he struck out the last 5 batters he faced. And everyone he struck out got the business.
Yeah.
It was him staring into the dugout.
Yep.
It was him talking. I love when he leaves the mound after a strikeout and he does this, that the thumb over the shoulder, like, get the hell out of here, chump. I love it. I love it so much.
Oh, his edge, major edge.
He's definitely has edge. When you throw 101 and you're shoving it straight up their donkey, there's nothing they could do about it. They know it, you know it, and he just keeps bringing it. It's so fun. Here's look at he looks back into the dugout.
Here's this guy. Are you serious?
You. Not his head the whole way back to the dugout, looking, and then he started to walk back toward the Kentucky dugout. I mean, that was his last. If you're watching, this was Skeens' last strikeout of the night. And he's walking into the dugout, and it looked like he was going to walk off and not say anything. And then after about 5 or 6 steps, he looks, and then it was just beeline at the Kentucky dugout the whole way back. It was fantastic. So Paul Skeens was awesome, man. I do want to ask you about well, first of all, let me ask you about Gavin Dugas. So, no secret, Gavin's a friend. You told me that you did talk to him last night. What did he say?
Man, he was actually in really good spirits. He said his exact words are, "I'm gonna be fine. It's not a big deal."
Okay.
And
you believe him?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have any reason not to.
Okay. I'm just asking.
I think he would. I think he would have been honest. He didn't go into detail on severity or what happened or what anybody said. But
it was a separated shoulder.
Yeah, from the feeling that I got from him, is he's going to be good. And golly, just LSU baseball and shoulder injuries the last few years, not a very good track record.
It was a very similar play that happened to Cade Doty last year at Vanderbilt. Cade was going to his left, diving for a ball, and then on this play, Gavin was going to his right. He left his feet, came down. If you didn't see it, left his feet, came down, and he was just barrel rolling in pain on the field. I mean, you could just tell it just popped out. So I would assume they just popped it back in on the field. And
yeah, I mean, it looked like, for me, like immediate relief when they popped it back.
Oh, yeah.
But it wasn't like a pop it back in. It was just kind of like he just kind of moved it a little bit.
He might have popped it back in.
I
mean, it's possible. No, you're looking what? Did you just palm your?
I mean, Apple Watch. Huge
So
Apple Watch guy.
this is a problem now. So Theriot got an Apple Watch for Easter.
Yeah.
And now, I have a hard enough time getting you to focus, not looking at your phone during the segment. Now you're looking at your watch. One of the biggest lifestyle changes with an Apple Watch. This you're going to notice this, okay? Is when you're in conversations with people and your Apple Watch, it vibrates, right, or buzzes or whatever whenever you have a notification.
Yeah.
Right. Your natural tendency is to look at it, right? Yeah. You turn your wrist and you look at it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you're talking to someone,
it's rude.
You and I are talking.
That's rude. That's a rude
and
thing
I do
to
this. What are you? What's your?
That's rude.
inference?
You're not really paying attention to what I'm saying.
I'm looking at the clock because I think I have somewhere to be. Right? That's what someone thinks whenever they look at their watch.
Yeah.
Oh man, I got to go. It's 3:40. You know, it's the hardest thing with an Apple Watch. You got to ignore. You have to ignore the vibration until you're done with a conversation with somebody, and then you can go check it. Or you can say, "Wait, excuse me, 1 second. I'm getting a whatever." Like that. You have to do that.
I'm still new. I mean, this is my second day wearing it.
Yeah.
So
and the thing you just did, by the way, you just like open palm, slap the face of your Apple Watch.
Right. That's not it.
No, don't do
Okay.
And I'm going to tell you something else you need to do.
Give it to me. I mean, I'm all ears.
You need a different protector for your watch because your face is completely exposed there. So look at this watch band. You see the face of the Apple Watch is recessed.
Okay.
The band sits above it. So if it lands, the band is going to hit something flush, not the face of the watch. Because if you crack that watch, the face of the watch, you're screwed.
So why? Yeah, but why would it land?
If you drop your watch. You could drop your watch.
It's on my wrist, though.
I get it. You're going to take it off at some point.
Yeah, I guess I'll take it off every night.
Yeah. Plug it in to charge it.
Can you? I mean, I'm sure you can buy the screen protectors like you buy for your phone,
look,
huh?
You do.
This case for my phone has been a lifesaver. I drop my phone all the time, and it just no big deal.
OtterBox, bro.
Right, and so, but what if I don't like the look of that? That looks too big and bulky. You have big arms, big hands, like you.
The face of your watch is bigger than mine.
Exactly. All that is just gonna be huge. You remember those Nixon watches years ago that were like that big? Like I don't want that.
Okay. That's up to you, friend. I'm just trying to give you advice from a guy who's worn an Apple Watch now for 5 years.
And I appreciate it.
So you
I'm going to take it. I'm taking it.
You do you.
I'm taking the advice.
We're brought to you by Relief Windows, reliefwindows.com. I want to get Terrio's thoughts on tonight's game here in just a second. Windows, door siding, Relief Windows, and reliefwindows.com. That's energy-efficient replacement windows, beautiful entry doors, hardy plank and vinyl siding, and their showroom, their state-of-the-art showroom is right there in Airline Highway, open Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. You don't need an appointment. You can make one, but you don't need one. You can walk in. They always have associates ready to talk to you. You want to see the windows, open the doors, feel the hardy plank and vinyl siding, pick your color. You can do it all right there at the Relief Windows showroom. It's gorgeous just to go see it in there. Have you been yet?
I have.
It's phenomenal. They spent Brandon and Adrian spent a lot of time, obviously, designing and building that out, but it's entirely worth it. It's incredible. It's Relief Windows. Windows door siding, Relief Windows, and reliefwindows.com. All right, we're going to wrap up the hour with Ask Ryan coming up here in just a moment, so make sure you can, and then Terrio's got to scoot, but you can get your questions in for Terrio. We will wrap up with Ask Ryan. Let me get a thought on Ty Floyd tonight. Against this Kentucky lineup. A small ball lineup that their whole MO is get on, get over, get in. Mm-hmm. So for Ty Floyd, the walks, the hit by pitch, that's been his bugaboo of late, and this is a team that you really don't want to do that against.
Yeah, I mean, but the last portion of that process, the walk, get him over, or get him on, get him over, get him in, I think is where Ty Floyd is going to have success today with the get him in. I mean, he's got good enough stuff, and this team is offensively challenged to a certain extent. They're not going to put up runs like LSU does. Obviously, you want to limit the free passes, whether it be walks or hit by pitches, but I do think his stuff is good enough and will continue to be good enough to avoid that big inning. You may get a run or two here or there, but does have the ability to strike guys out. So I look for Ty to really throw the ball well tonight and handle this offense.
So Floyd and Hurd have obviously both struggled. Christian Little's going to get the Game 3 start. Chase Shores, Garrett Edwards are injured. And quite honestly, I don't expect to see either of them for the rest of this year. Nothing's been announced. I'm not breaking news or anything here. But
I think we'll see Edwards again.
I don't think we'll see Edwards. But let's assume that we won't. Okay? Let's just assume worst case scenario. We all know arm injuries, big, hard throwing guys. We know what it means. Okay, so let's assume we don't see those guys anymore this year. Is there enough pitching on this team that they can trust, or can the hitting compensate for what they lack in pitching to get this team to where they want to be, which is to win a national championship? Is there enough?
Yeah, I think if Javen Coleman's going to take about 3 weeks or so to get ramped up in a manner where you can extend him a little bit, maybe a little more than that, but that puts you into the regional, super regional type setup, right, for him. I expect him to be back. I expect him to throw meaningful innings, and I expect him to be really, really good. Up to 95, 96 the other day in a bullpen session.
Javen Coleman was?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
And so,
was he throwing that hard?
No.
Before? Okay.
No. So think back to the Oregon State Super when he was out there and kind of just busted on the scene, and we're like, oh my God, who is this guy? Like, so that level of lefty coming at you is high level. We saw it in Arkansas when we played those guys. They had two of them. Well, now we got one. Hopefully we'll be able to extend once that time comes. So that's a giant shot in the arm. Yes, with him, I think your pitching sufficient. Gavin Guidry, we talked about Edge from Skeens, very similar. An emotional pitcher, young guy, gets a little riled up, big time slider, like elite slider, strikeout pitch. Gavin's going to have to pitch. Like, he's going to have to be a guy that gives you meaningful innings, as the season goes on. And there's a couple other young guys that I think, but those two in particular, they're going to have to step up. You can never rely on offense alone. If you go back to all the great championship teams that LSU's had in the past that have won in Omaha, there's been some guys that nobody talked about. Once they get to Omaha, step up and really take the bull by the horns. And I think those two guys from pitching standpoint, and maybe Little as well, who's had his ups and downs, but I think the pitching is there, and it's good enough to carry you to where you need to be, because we're talking about an elite offense, like elite.
Elite to where teams intentionally walk Dylan Cruz to get to the guy that's leading the country in RBI.
It's
All right, we'll wrap up the hour with Ask Ryan. Then Terrio's got to get out of here. He's got to go coach a baseball game. So we'll wrap up with Ask Ryan next.
AFR.
Brought to you by Pluckers Nicholson. Bluebonnet, dine-in, carry-out, or delivery. 28 flavors of award-winning jumbo chicken wings, ice-cold draft beer, full-service bar, sports on TV. Okay, Friday, 6:30 first pitch tonight, LSU, Kentucky. If you're heading to the box, you can stop by the Pluckers on Nicholson, get a bite to eat before you go in. If you're going to the game, remember, Pluckers is open till midnight or later every night of the week. So after LSU polishes off Kentucky tonight, you can go eat at Pluckers. Or if you need a place to watch the game tonight, get by either Pluckers location, Nicholson or Bluebonnet. Remember, you can dine in, carry out, or delivery, but you can get to either location and watch the game, all LSU baseball games, all season long at both Pluckers locations. Also tonight, the NBA playoffs or the play-in tournament continues. You've got MLB action tonight, so you can watch the Tigers, the NBA, MLB. Tomorrow is a gigantic day. The gymnastics team goes for a national championship. You can watch all of it at Pluckers. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Bayou Ford has $2,000 off MSRP, plus 2.9% APR for 84 months on new 22 Ford Expeditions. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
For over a century, local broadcasting has evolved with the needs of the community. We move past the stigmas of opinion journalism and bring the most relevant news online, on air, and on the go. You have trusted us with your news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Trust us to keep moving with you. Text TB to 52886 and tell Congress local broadcasting is here to stay.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all of that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Okay, we are wrapping up hour number one. Terrio's here. He's got a jet after this, so a little bit of a change. Terrio's got to coach a baseball game. So let's get to Ask Ryan. You get your questions in. Email us, tweet us at Matt Moscona. Jump in the Bayou Ford YouTube chat and the Watch 1045 ESPN YouTube channel, or text your questions in the 225 at 396-4400, 396-4400. By the way, your letter earlier got a lot of people upset. George said, tell midget. I don't know if I can say that's not even appropriate. I think the appropriate word is little people.
Yeah.
But anyway, by the way, and to random side, I think little people sounds more offensive than calling
100%.
Anyway, tell midget he can kick rocks. He's referring to you.
Yeah, I see that.
Pistol Pete did more than shoot the basketball.
What else did he do?
Where did you have
George?
You didn't have Pistol Pete on the
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
He's a volume shooter that just chunks up.
Get out of here.
He just chunks the Cam Thomas.
Averaged 44 a game.
Cam Thomas is twice the player Pistol Pete was. You put Daryl. What's the kid's name? Daryl
Mitchell?
Daryl Mitchell. You put Daryl Mitchell at LSU in 67, 68, 69, 70 in the Cow Palace. He's averaging 50. I promise you that.
That's one of the dumbest things you've ever seen.
He fired the ball up every time it touched. That's why they never won.
In the history of this show.
He just shot it every time he touched his hands.
In the history of this show.
Shout out to Pistol for scoring a bunch, but way to be a selfish player. I mean, come on. What are we doing? Pass the ball every once in a while. I don't care if he. I watch the show too.
Is this April Fool's? Is it?
I watch the show where you do the dribbling and all that stuff. It goes between dribbles with his knees, and then the team loses.
Oh my God!
About winning, bro.
Ask Ryan. This is Kevin Gotro. I mean, are you trying to piss everybody? Are you trying to? You're like, what you just did is you just dropped a bomb and you just lit dog poo on fire and ran away. Rang the bell and ran away because you're leaving in 2 minutes. You're going to piss everybody off, then you're going to leave.
You ready? Pistol Pete, and I know this because somebody that I trust a whole lot told me this. Pistol Pete has more field goal attempts in 3 years. Field goal attempts in 3 years than the guy that challenged his record that played for 5 years.
Yeah, the Detroit Mercy.
He's got more attempts in 3 years than the guy at Detroit Mercer in 5 years.
That's true.
Just firing it up every time it touched his hands.
Kevin Gotro asked Ryan, do any thunder chicken hunting this spring? What's a thunder chicken?
Turkeys?
Why do they call them thunder chicken?
Not yet, but I would. Yeah, I mean, I'd like to, but.
A really cool thing to do is piss everybody off, then tell them about Haspel.
Well, I mean, I'm sure Pete probably wore some Haspel because he did have good style. Okay. You can go to Haspel.com. Haspel.com, direct to consumer ordering. It's not just seersucker. Okay, this is
By the way, I bought 2 Haspel shirts today. They got a deal going on right now. It's a free polo deal. Go to the website. Go to Haspel.com. If you buy a polo at original price, they'll give you one of their Fulton polos completely free. I did it. So I got 2 Fulton polos. I bought one. It was like $54 for a polo, which is good. So I bought one of the Fulton polos, and I got a second one for free.
Mm-hmm.
So I got them coming to the house.
Did you put Riot 10 in the?
No, because you had to buy.
Why didn't you do that?
Because you had to buy it at the you can use discount codes. You had that you can't combine offers on that. So, but I'll go buy a seersucker suit or something. I love their stuff. It was great visiting Haspel last week. Very, very impressive.
Not just seersucker over at Haspel. They got it all. Shorts, swimwear. You got the linen beach shorts, which I got a pair of those actually yesterday.
Did
a little
you?
drawstring. Yep. Bucks, the new Bucks, the shoes. You're familiar. 6 colors. Oxford wingtip shoes as well. Lightweight wool sport coats. I got it all at Haspel. It's not just seersucker. Actually, the shirt I'm wearing right now, the LSU number, is a Haspel long sleeve shirt as well. So go check them out at haspel.com. It's haspel.com. Type in Riot10 in the discount code. Get you 10% off. And if it is seersucker you're looking for, they got 14 colors.
Haspel.com. Haspel.com. Kirk Taylor said Theriot hating on Pistol Pete is a bit, right?
I mean, just look at the numbers.
I hate you so much.
It's
I mean, I
true.
love you. I love you very much. Like, I love you. But for what you just did, I hate you.
AFR.
I'm Chris Nakamoto, and here's what I'm working on for my stories on WBRZ Channel 2 tonight. The head of the Louisiana Department of Wildlife and Fisheries abruptly quit today after being linked to a bribery scheme in Lafayette. The advocate identified that unnamed official as Jack Montesset this week. The feds are now looking into the scheme, which has resulted already in one guilty plea. The governor weighing in today and has already named his replacement. I'm Chris Nakamoto from WBRZ. Watch more tonight on WBRZ Channel 2.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Each year, Guarantee Media hosts a radiothon to benefit Dreams Come True, the local organization that grants dreams to Louisiana kids suffering life-threatening illnesses and their families. We've interviewed these incredible kids, and their stories warm our hearts. And none of it would be possible without your help. So we're asking for your support in our effort to making more dreams come true. Each year, our Dreams Come True radiothon is powered by the Baton Rouge Clinic. Visit GuaranteeMedia.com to pledge your support today, and thank you.
Clash of the Cooks Jambalaya Showdown is back.
Join us on Saturday, April 22nd.
At the Ochsner Medical Complex at the Grove. We've got cooking teams of pros and joes serving up their best jambalaya and Cajun Creole dishes, all while helping raise dough for local families battling cancer. Bring the whole family for great food, live tunes, and good times. Clash of the Cooks Jambalaya Showdown presented by Ochsner.
Saturday, April 22nd at lunchtime. Help us paddle it forward. For tickets and more information, go to clashofthecooks.com.
All right. Hey, what's up, y'all? It's that time again. It's heating up. Your boat's getting ready to come out and spend all summer on the water. It's time to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service, where if you want an incredible custom speaker install, it's going to blow people away in the water, that's there for you. You want an HD sonar where you can see the fish under the water before you cast, beat all your friends, that's there for you at front-to-back boat service. So don't put it off. We got the parts in right now. Get them now before they go back on back order. Front-to-back boat service.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walk.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Theriot with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Theriot and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
Sports Center.
I'm Doug Brown. The last 2 games of the NBA play-in tournament will produce the 8 seeds in each conference. The Heat and the Bulls in the East. Coverage of that one starts at 6:30 Eastern tonight on ESPN Radio. Then on ESPN TV and radio, it's the Timberwolves and Thunder in the West. The Mavericks get a $750,000 fine for detrimental conduct to the NBA. The team sat out several key players last Friday in a loss to the Bulls that eliminated them from playoff contention. Tonight in Toronto, the Tampa Bay Rays open a 3-game series with the Blue Jays. The Rays are 13-0, and a win tonight sets a modern-era record for a season-opening win streak. ESPN's Buster Olney.
So far this season, in these 13 games, the Rays have out-homered their opponents 32-6. They have more home runs as a team than total runs allowed.
Buster Olney on Fitz and Harry. 6-time Pro Bowl defensive lineman Gerald McCoy retiring after 9 years with the Buccaneers.
Coming up Monday, I'll tell you which team is already in trouble after losing Game 1 of their series. Keyshawn J. Will and Max, Monday morning, 6 Eastern. ESPN Radio, ESPN2, ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
That's right.
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Usually, Theriot here. If you're just jumping aboard, knocking off of work, tuning in. Theriot was here in hour 1. Little schedule change there. Had to go coach a baseball game, so Theriot was just here for hour 1. You can miss it if you missed any of the right radio hour from today's first hour of AFR. LSU and Kentucky game 2 tonight, 6:30 first pitch, or about 2.5 hours away. Everyone has already had their bite at the apple recapping last night, so I'll go quickly with this. Tigers win at 16-6. They run rule Kentucky. It was really nice to see Paul Skeens get run support and not have to be max effort throughout. When you look at his starts, in particular in conference play, you know, the A&M game, LSU won it 9-0, but Paul Skeens exited that game with LSU up 4-0. I mean, there were some very high leverage moments in that game while he was in there. The Arkansas game, Skeens exited down 1-0. So LSU, of course, we know that game ended 9-3 as Arkansas blew it open in overtime, or in extra inning, excuse me. But Skeens exited that game. It was 1-0 against Tennessee. That was a 2-1 ball game. When Skeens exited, LSU ended up winning it 5-2. And then last week, we know what happened. It was a 3-1 game, LSU trailing after the third inning when the Lightning came, and, of course, how that game unfolded. So for Paul Skeens to go out there after the first inning up 6-1, and after the second inning up 11-1, he was able to not have to be max effort, where he had to grind out every pitch, every bat, be so precise with his location. He could throw the ball over the plate. And they hit it a couple times, and it just didn't matter because he had such a big lead. It was just get deep into the ballgame. Now, the very interesting thing was whenever the Kentucky players started chirping, Skeens flipped that switch back on, and he struck out the last 5 batters he faced, which was incredibly impressive. It shows his ability to turn on that to flip that switch that he has. And I mean, look, Jay Johnson said it after. I mean, it's just the standard that Paul Skeens has set at LSU is just that we just haven't seen anything like it.
He just set an unmeetable standard, in terms of executing pitches. And
lines and performances. Like, it's it's surprising, in the SEC, the best conference in the country, that it's taken this long for somebody to score a few runs off of them. It's awesome. I hope people really appreciate what they're watching, because that doesn't show up in college baseball anymore.
Let's just be very clear. Like, hat tip, Kentucky, whatever, but some of what transpired was they bunt the ball and Tommy White misplays a ball charging in from third. They had a hard grounder to short that Jordan Thompson kicked. They ruled it a base hit. Questionable ruling by the official scorer. It wasn't like they were hitting the ball hard all over the yard against Paul Skeens. A lot of it was circumstance, but tip your hat, whatever. When Paul Skeens needed to lock in, like he did again in the 5th and the 6th, it was overwhelming. A couple other things. I guess the good thing for LSU is because the game transpired the way it did, is that the only pitcher used out of the bullpen was Riley Cooper, who threw 26 pitches. Cooper could certainly pitch again today or tomorrow, just because we've seen him do that so much in his career. But you were able to preserve everybody else in your bullpen, which you need, because let's be honest, Ty Floyd hasn't been reliable to get you deep into games the last couple of weeks, and I don't know what we're going to expect from Christian Little. He started the midweek for you, and it's been hot and cold for him. So you're probably going to need your bullpen. You're going to need guys to extend. So it's good that you didn't have to go into your bullpen significantly at all yesterday. The really disappointing thing, of course, was the Gavin Dugas injury. Theriot did update and said he talked to Gavin last night, said it's no big deal. There was even some thought that Gavin could be back in the lineup tonight. So if that here after the game, Jay Johnson was a little testy after the game, and I don't blame him whatsoever. I mean, this is 3 consecutive games now where you have seen really good players go out with injury. Garrett Edwards, Paxton Kling, and now Gavin Dugas, who's your senior starting second baseman, leadoff guy, who's been number 8. It's just to see him writhing around on the ground in pain is just it's like a gut sinking feeling. It's a stomach in your throat type feeling. But here after the game, this is what Jay said.
Yeah, I mean, the trainer was positive, but I'm done trying to speculate on injuries. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be coy. I mean, I hope he can play again. I mean, the trainer didn't seem like it was that big a deal, but.
Is it a shoulder?
Yeah.
Shoulder popped out, popped it back in. I did ask as well. Gavin does not have a history of that. Remember the thing with Cade Doty a year ago was Cade has a history of his shoulder popping out. So when it happened against Vanderbilt, when he dove for the ball, we knew immediately what it was. His shoulder popped out. I mean, Terrio's told the story before with Cade training at Traction where they were doing the medicine ball sit-ups with the medicine ball where you have someone standing over you, you throw the med ball. Well, Theriot threw him the med ball, and his shoulder popped out. Like, once it pops out once, it's easier to happen again. I mean, obviously I'm not a doctor, I'm not a medical expert. That's just something we just know is factual when you have that injury. But this was a first for Gavin, just kind of landed on it awkwardly. But hopefully he's back in there. I don't know if they're going to put him back in there tonight, but some of that whisper say was that he may be good enough to go tonight. So we'll see how they when they release a lineup coming up here shortly. My druthers would be, man, he's way too important long-term for you to risk if there's any potential of a setback. So, I mean, give that dude the weekend off, ice that thing, and be ready to go potentially next week if it is not anything that serious. Offensively, I don't know that I can add anything that anybody didn't already say. My goodness, you go out there in the first inning and they intentionally walk Dylan Cruz to get to Tommy White, and he hits a 2-run double. I mean, it's just, I laugh every time I see guys and teams intentionally walk Dylan Cruz. It's just, to get to Tommy White it's just comical. I mean, it's an illustration of what this offense is. Jordan Thompson with the grand slam in the first. You follow up with Braden Joubert with a grand slam in the second. Cade Beloso hit a 3-run homer in the game. It was just, you had big hits and big moments. Kentucky's pitching, they walked 10 hitters. They hit 5 batters. LSU's offense doesn't need help, and Kentucky gave you 15 base runners. I mean, it's just, that's how you end up in a game like you did last night. So, game 2 tonight for LSU and Kentucky. And I'll tell you all this candidly. We did, if you were here yesterday on the show, we did sort of talk about the possibility of a doubleheader today. Because as we were coming on the show yesterday, there were some whispers around here. Of course, we're an LSU affiliate, so sometimes you got to know if you have to make broadcast adjustment, there was talk yesterday about a doubleheader today, that being a possibility. But Jay Johnson, after the game, made it clear that they were going to play one today and have the intention of playing Game 3 on Saturday. Here's why they decided not to play a Friday doubleheader.
You know, it's tricky with the rain. Should we play a double header? Should we not? But we played a game on Tuesday night, and we used 6 pitchers to win. And, you know, if we're not 1,000% sure it's going to rain, we want to get the fans out here for the game they're planning on coming to tomorrow night at 6:30. And then if there's any way to play on Saturday, we'll be in good shape. And it's the right thing to do for our players and make sure, you know, a few of them have another day.
Take it for what it's worth. I mean, wants to preserve arms. I get it. I'm not saying you don't preserve arms. You want to give guys rest. I get it. I'm not saying rush guys back out there. If that's the question, then you need to be having a bigger conversation, which is roster issues in college baseball. If you don't have enough arms to get through a weekend, if you have to play a doubleheader because you played on Tuesday. I mean, that's how college baseball is structured. I'm not saying Jay is being coy or dismissive or lying or untruthful or any of that stuff. I believe him. But that speaks to a much bigger problem if, in fact, that is the case. So LSU play and Kentucky play tonight, and they'll try to get one in on Saturday. But, I mean, if you've looked at the forecast in Baton Rouge for Saturday, it's terrible. I'll look at it right now. 80% chance of thunderstorms, high of 78, low of 63. And, I mean, it looks like the rain Saturday starts at 6 a.m. and runs throughout the day. The chance of rain and thunderstorms throughout the day. So you may be dodging showers. There may be starting and stopping. Who does that benefit? I don't know. But that may be what it's like on Saturday if they're able to get Game 3 in. So we'll certainly cross our fingers and hope for the best. Okay, it's after further review. We'll knock out a quick break. Our Friday show is brought to you by Don Juan Cigar Bar. Great news if you haven't heard yet. 2 weeks from yesterday, first round of the NFL draft, our draft watch party once again at Don Juan Cigar Bar. We're fired up to be there. Our staff will be there. We'll be doing a live companion show stream from Don Juan Cigar Bar. So come on out, watch the draft with us, hang out with us, have a cocktail, have a cigar. Our whole staff will be there. And if you can't be at Don Juan Cigar Bar, be sure to lock in on the Watch 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel. Our draft companion show and coverage is presented by Rouse's, and we will be live at Don Juan Cigar Bar. Okay, LSU basketball. Matt McMahon got a big, literally, commitment today from a 7-footer out of the transfer portal. We'll talk about that with Billy Embody next.
AFR.
Love telling you about the Renaissance Hotel in Baton Rouge, right there on Bluebonnet near I-10. Look, we all know this, right? If you're giving someone directions in Baton Rouge, every direction starts with get on I-10. So if your hotel, the Renaissance Hotel, which is a gorgeous property, is right there off of I-10 at Bluebonnet, super convenient to find. And remember, at the Renaissance, yeah, you know about their guest rooms and why it's a great place to stay and all the amenities, of course. But also, 2 other things. Number 1, their meeting space. Their meeting space can host groups from as small and as quaint as a boardroom for 12 people up to their large ballroom, which can host 500 people. There have been sorority events and charity fundraising events and awards, banquets, and dinners, wedding receptions. They can host it all there at the Renaissance Hotel. And remember also, Tallulah inside the Renaissance Hotel. This is casual, upscale dining. Great place to have a cocktail, watch the game tonight, have a bite to eat. It's Tallulah inside the Renaissance Hotel.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all of that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, Matt McMahon of the Basketball Tigers got good news today. A Nevada big man, 7-footer Will Baker, has committed to LSU. Our buddy Billy Embody from On3, good enough to join us for a couple of minutes here to talk some Tiger hoops. How are you, dude?
I'm doing well, Matt. How about you?
Man, I'm doing really well. And obviously, look, Matt McMahon, Cam Hayes today jumped in the portal. That's 7 LSU players in the portal, but they're starting to rebuild it. Let's start with Will Baker. What can you tell us about Will Baker, the player, and what he means for this LSU team next season?
Yeah, Will Baker is a former top 30 overall prospect in the country. He went to Texas. It didn't work out. He ends up going to Nevada and really put together a nice career there. Really is somebody that I feel like is going to add a lot of offensive skill to this lineup. I don't necessarily know if he'll be a starter, but he does have that experience. He does have that size, a true 7-footer, a veteran of college basketball, played a ton of minutes throughout his career, and is somebody that a lot of people look at as somebody who's going to bring a little bit more offense to the table. For LSU, he can step out and shoot it a little bit. He needs to, continue to develop his defensive game just a little bit more. But, LSU needed kind of a jolt offensively, and I think he's going to provide that. And, 7-footers don't grow on trees as much anymore, it seems like. So they get a nice piece in Will Baker.
So this isn't defense, rim protection. This is an offensive big, kind of replacing KJ Williams' production.
Yeah, absolutely. He can step out and play a little bit on the perimeter, not necessarily be a 3-point shooting, consistent threat, but he can extend a little bit more and spread the floor and bring other bigs out of the paint and kind of play a little bit more of a skill game. Some people kind of I saw somebody compare his game a little bit to Drew Timme. He's not Drew Timme's level, but their style and ability to step out and kind of be comfortable on the perimeter is very similar. And I saw Will Baker in high school, and it hasn't necessarily panned out, being an Austin kid and signing with Texas and having to transfer from there. But I do know his skill set, even dating back to high school, has been primarily the offensive side of things.
Yeah, so by the way, you mentioned he coming out of high school, a top 30 national prospect. So I hate to say what went wrong, but where were maybe the holes? Where were the shortcomings that had to develop?
Yeah, defensively was a big piece. And then he's not necessarily somebody that has a plethora of post moves under his belt. He does, have a wider range of moves now that he's, spent a few years in the college ranks. This will be, I'm 99.9% sure the COVID years still get me sometimes, but I'm 99% sure this is going to be his final year. He did talk about it being his grad year. So he's played a lot of college basketball. He has developed some more post moves, but those things didn't necessarily come together for him right away. And Texas, got going with Chris Beard there for a bit on the recruiting trail, and it just didn't pan out. And so he wanted a change of scenery and left Austin.
So Will Baker jumps aboard. We've seen LSU also make formal the announcements from Jordan Wright and Jalen Cook. Billy, I'm sure you got to see those guys when they were prepping in Baton Rouge or the Baton Rouge era. Of course, Jalen Cook spent a year at LSU. Thoughts on what the addition of Wright and Cook means for LSU?
Yeah, I think with Jalen Cook, it was the best thing for him to transfer from LSU and go somewhere that he was going to be used. Will Wade, went with Eric Gaines, who was kind of more of a defensive guy and had that athleticism right from the jump that Will kind of, I think, valued a little bit more in his guards and things like that. But he did go to Tulane, and he really has ripped it up. I mean, he's been one of the top players. I've seen a lot of him just because, covering SMU a little bit too on the basketball front. I've been able to watch a lot of AAC basketball, and Jalen Cook's been one of the best players in the league. So that worked out for him to go somewhere else and play a ton and be used in a better fashion. And now he gets a chance to kind of not necessarily a redemption tour, but be able to actually contribute in a big role. Now that he's coming back to LSU. So I'm really happy for Jalen to get that opportunity because he was one of those first guys to commit to LSU in that class too. Jordan Wright is somebody that I think I looked up a tweet, and it was something like 6 years ago. I was at a basketball game of his at Dunham, and he was just on that fringe where they probably should have, if it was football in the sense of, you kind of take a Louisiana developmental guy, a couple of them every class, they could probably have worked him in, but instead he left the state. He went to Vanderbilt and had a strong role there. He was just somebody that I think probably, back then the way Will was kind of recruiting wings and things like that, they were looking for Marlon Taylors and Emmett Williams, who are, very different types of players, just athletically. And Jordan Wright just is kind of a junkyard dog. He's got a big frame, wide shoulders, and is just kind of a bruiser in that sense, but is very has been pretty productive for Vanderbilt over the course of his career. So again, kind of a guy that you look at, and he's going to continue to provide leadership like he did at Vanderbilt. He's going to do that for LSU. I think he's maybe somebody who could squeeze into the starting lineup, but at the very least, I think he's a major role off the bench in a big way for LSU this coming year.
Well, Billy, squeezing into the starting lineup will obviously depend on who else joins this squad. And someone to keep an eye on is another Baton Rouge guy, Carlos Stewart. Spent a couple of years at Santa Clara, averaged 15 this past season. Monday of this week, he jumped into the portal. Know he's on a visit, or was on a visit this week to LSU. What can you tell us about Stewart's process timeline and if he does pledge to LSU, how he fits?
Yeah, this guard position is going to be really interesting for LSU because they've got Joe Girard, the Syracuse transfer, who's an incredible three-point shooter on campus. They are also in on Amari Abram out of Ole Miss, who's at Georgia this weekend, and his process is probably winding down. I think LSU's in a good spot, though, for Carlos Stewart. It's just going to be really interesting to see what they do if they do somehow get into the position where all three of those guys want in. And I think it's a real possibility that they do. The numbers normally work themselves out, but, LSU is going to have to decide from kind of taking somebody out of that group that's kind of a shorter-term fix in like a Joe Girard. Obviously Carlos Stewart has the Baton Rouge side of things, and they need shooting from Girard. But Amari Abrams like one of the best guards in the entire country in the transfer portal, and he's got 3 more years to go. So they have a tough decision to make if they do get into position to get all three of those guys, which is a very real possibility. But, Carlos Stewart is somebody that's played at a high level for Santa Clara. I think he's, about 6'1"-ish, I believe. And so he's on the, smaller side on the guard front. So you already have Jalen Cook on board, who's, again, not necessarily the biggest guard out there, but both were productive at their prior stops. I think they really want Carlos Stewart to come in and kind of keep that Louisiana vibe going. And if I was a betting man, I think he's going to end up at LSU.
Yeah. A couple more minutes here, Billy Embody from On 3. We mentioned Cam Hayes hit the portal today. That's number, if my math is right, Billy, that's 7 LSU players from this roster this season that have hit the transfer portal. Of the players that have left, where's the biggest loss, or what's left the biggest hole for LSU?
Yeah, I think they need a big, and that's something that with Sean Phillips leaving, that was kind of a tough deal. I think there's a lot of skill in Sean Phillips's game, and he could have continued to develop if given more opportunities. And so I think they really want to go out and find a big. That's looks to be what's next. You see all these guards they're on. They're on Abu. His last name's escaping me, but North Texas big man, a 6'10" big that just entered the portal from North Texas. He's going to Seton Hall right now. He might end up visiting LSU. He'd be a rotational guy for LSU if he were to get on his visit next week and really like it. But he is from New York, and there are a ton of Big East schools after him, and that might be the right fit for him as well. But they do overall need to find a big. I think that's the real thing that they're going to hone in on next. And I mean, there's over 1,000 players in the portal. It's absolutely wild, but finding a big is going to be really important.
Abu Usmane. I don't know if I'm saying it correctly, but
I think you nailed it.
Well, I'm a grammaticist. What can I say? All right, Billy, before we let you go, man, any other names? I mean, you've thrown a lot out already, but any other names that you could say, hey, keep an eye on that player because there might be some mutual interest and maybe LSU or the player pulls the trigger here soon?
I will drop a little 2024 recruiting nugget for you because honestly, on the transfer portal front, we're continuing to kind of just see who's kind of next on that visit train. But Robert Miller, the third, the son of former LSU football player Robert Miller, is coming to LSU this weekend for an official visit. He is a top, I think he's top 40 right now overall in the country. He's a top 10 power forward, maybe even top 5. I think he's going to continue to move up. But LSU's going to host him for an official visit this weekend, and I don't know. But there's some growing confidence that LSU might be able to reel in a legacy and in Robert Miller. So 6'9" forward. He's been incredible so far in his AAU season. He's got offers from Texas A&M, TCU, a bunch of other schools, but LSU is kind of working this one in the right direction, and it wouldn't shock me if he could get this 2024 class really going with a nice early decision if they can get.
Is he coached by TJ Ford from Texas?
He is.
Okay. I just saw it on the profile. I'm like, is that TJ Ford who had Texas in the Final Four back in 2003 in New Orleans?
Oh yeah, that's him. And Texas is probably the big competition here. Okay. Rodney Terry has done kind of handled his recruitment, back when he was even the assistant coach. But LSU has done a nice job as of late, and there's some growing confidence. So we'll see what kind of comes from that official visit. But I would say that's the biggest piece of potential next basketball recruiting news for LSU.
All right, he's on Twitter at Billy Embody. Of course, On 3, the Bengal Tiger. You can check it out, subscribe up there. Billy, we appreciate it, man. Have a great weekend. Thanks for the time.
Anytime, Matt. Thanks for having me.
I'm in. Be well. It is After Further Review. Love telling you about South Point Volkswagen. SouthPointVW.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at southpointvw.com. If you're in the market for a new vehicle, maybe your son or daughter is just starting to drive. Maybe you're thinking of buying that new car for the upcoming high school or college graduate in your family. Get on by South Point Volkswagen. They have a make, they have a model for any need, really. If you want the compact SUV, the Tiguan, the full-size SUV, the Atlas. The Atlas Crossport takes out the third row on that SUV still with all the great technology as well. The Jetta, the Passat, the Beetle. Even if you want to drive their all-new, all-electric SUV for everyone, the Volkswagen ID4, and they've got them on the lot. If you have not test-driven or driven an EV, it's worth it. If you think you're driving some micro machine, trust me, the power in those things are incredible. You can test drive one today at South Point Volkswagen. Airline just north of Highland or southpointvw.com, Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer. South Point Volkswagen, what's your direction? Okay, y'all, Theriot was here in hour one. I know as we move here into hour two, a lot of people maybe just knocking off work, jumping in the car, turn us on. We appreciate you for being there. So Theriot was here hour one, so we're kind of going to reshape and shuffle things a bit. We'll do Around the SEC when we come back next. We got Lane Kiffin trolling the Florida football program, which it's Lane Kiffin trolling the Florida football program. We'll get to that coming up shortly. Todd Walker, T-Dub, in 30 minutes from right now. Talk a little SEC baseball to kick off hour number 3. Still plenty of LSU Kentucky games 2 and 3 to preview. We'll get to all of that as we continue. We're glad you're with us here on a Friday edition of AFR.
AFR.
Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon McKernan, injury attorneys. I want to remind you as well, kind of mentioned a bit ago about upcoming high school or college grads. Well, something that Gordon has done for several years now is he's awarded laptops to a dozen graduates. So if that's you or someone in your family, go to gordonsgrads.com, spelled just like it sounds, gordonsgrads.com, and you write a short essay explaining why you should be one of the winners. Just another way that Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys continues to give back to the community. You hear me say that often. Yes, you see Gordon out there. He's so public and so front and center, and the jingle's great, and it's all hard to miss, of course. But Gordon continues, and he's helped injured people in the state of Louisiana for 3 decades. But Gordon continues to give back into the community as well, which is why I'm proud to endorse Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. Gordonsgrads.com, getgordon.com. Get Gordon, get it done.
Clash of the Cooks Jambalaya Showdown is back. Join us on Saturday, April 22nd at the Ochsner Medical Complex at The Grove. We've got cooking teams of pros and joes serving up their best jambalaya and Cajun Creole dishes, all while helping raise dough for local families battling cancer. Bring the whole family for great food, live tunes, and good times. Clash of the Cooks Jambalaya Showdown presented by Ochsner. Saturday, April 22nd at lunchtime. Help us paddle it forward. For tickets and more information, go to clashofthecooks.com. All right.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet. The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
The world's leaders in obesity research, obesity medicine, and obesity science are right here.
We're doing something that no one's ever done or trying to answer a question that no one's ever asked before.
Pennington is a real jewel when it comes to research.
We are finding the solutions to the world's worst chronic disease, which is obesity. Louisiana needs Pennington Biomedical.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walker.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Theriot with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Theriot and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
So it's a really big spring game weekend. I think maybe a dozen or so SEC schools are going to have their spring games this weekend. Well, Florida does their spring game in primetime. And it was last night. And Ole Miss head coach Lane Kiffin was apparently watching the Florida spring game. And in true Lane Kiffin fashion, took the opportunity to poke fun. He took a picture of his television and tweeted it, of the game. And the caption were two fire emojis. And he @ed the Florida Gators account. The reason that this is a troll job, you may notice, the score is tied 7-7 with 8 minutes to go in the game. Fourth quarter, 8 minutes to go, the Florida spring game, tied at 7, and Lane Kiffin drops the fire emojis on him. I don't care if you love him or hate him. Maybe if he beats your school, you hate him, or you hated that he was at SC or what. I don't really care. The thing that I consistently say all the time is I want sports to feel more like pro wrestling. I want taunts and jeers and jabs and celebrations and all of that fun stuff. Sports is supposed to be fun. And I love that Lane Kiffin unapologetically will troll anyone, even Florida Gators in the spring game. So, yes, I'm here for all of it. Attaboy Lane Kiffin. The Florida spring game was tied at 7 with 8 minutes to go in the fourth quarter.
Did you see the final score?
No.
10-7.
No.
I mean, I'm not one to freak out on spring games, Matt, because they they're stupid. They're dumb. But apparently they averaged 1.8 yards per play.
That's great. Beautiful. Did Graham Mertz play?
Yes.
How did he do?
I would imagine not good, Matt.
Sounds like he didn't do so hot.
Fun year in Gainesville, gang.
Okay, it's after further review. We're brought to you by Shawbills Tire and Auto Service, ShawBillsTire.com, home of the Charlie's Dozen. I love telling you about Shawbills. Great people over there. Of course, Miss Beth, Martin, they've been awesome to me over the years, me and my family. But you know what? It's not just because I endorse them. It's because that's how they treat people at Shawbills. They treat you like family. They're a family-owned business and have been for more than 50 years. And so they treat every customer that comes through the door like family, because that's what Mr. Charlie just mandated. That was going to be how they ran their business and would run their business for as long as they were open. That still carries on today. It's Shawbills. You can go to the website. You can schedule service. You can shop tires. You can chat with an associate. You can find the location nearest you. You can look at all the specials, tell you every day, name brand tires, wholesale prices at Shawbills. You can see all the current specials right there at the website at ShawBillsTire.com. ShawBillsTire.com. Shawbills, where we keep you rolling. Okay, an hour late, but let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products, excellence in imaging solutions.
All right, let's run through the baseball action this weekend. Of course, 2 games on Thursday night. We know LSU beat Kentucky 16-6. The other game saw Texas A&M beating Missouri 13-5. It was close early, but A&M had a 9-run third inning there in College Station to blow the game open, and they never looked back. By the way, remember when Missouri opened conference play sweeping Tennessee and we all thought, hey, Missouri, maybe they're pretty good. Yeah, they're 1-9 since that season opening sweep against Tennessee. Missouri stinks. The rest of the slate this weekend, the big series is South Carolina at Vanderbilt. First pitch, game 1 at 6 o'clock Central Time. That's in Nashville. Number 4 Vandy hosting 6th-ranked South Carolina. We'll see if South Carolina's bats will travel. Texas A&M Missouri game 2 is tonight. It is the what do they call the Ole Miss Mississippi State? We just call it like the Egg Bowl on
I have no idea if they had a name for it. Yeah.
Well, it's Super Bulldog weekend.
I know
in
that. Yeah.
And we told you earlier this week they're unveiling the Ron Polk statue,
which is awesome.
So the fact that you have a 2-10 Ole Miss team and a 3-9 Mississippi State team is going to be irrelevant. They're going to sell a lot of tickets, and it's going to be a big deal there. The baseball, however, will likely not be very good.
Nope.
Florida hosts Georgia. Auburn is at Alabama. The Iron Bowl in baseball.
Yeah,
I guess let's go with that. Of course, Kentucky's at LSU. And the other big one in the league, Tennessee, with their new-look pitching rotation, travels to Fayetteville to take on 5th-ranked Arkansas. All right, there you have it. That is Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products. Shout out to our guy, Trey Beal, and our friends at Gulf Coast Office Products, online at gcopnet.com. gcopnet.com. for Gulf Coast Office Products. Face-to-face sales, service after the sale. Gulf Coast Office Products, great supporters of our local teams. They are the official office equipment provider of the LSU Tigers, the New Orleans Saints, the New Orleans Pelicans, and the ULL Ragin' Cajuns. Gulf Coast Office Products, gcopnet.com. We've been following the Foster Moreau story here for the past couple of weeks now. You know the story. Foster was on a visit with the Saints. A team doctor noticed a lump. They had it tested. Turns out that it was stage 2 Hodgkin's lymphoma, and now Foster Moreau is fighting that battle. Foster did an interview with Michael Strahan on Good Morning America. So for those that missed it on GMA, can we play number 3, Muse? First of all, here was Foster on his prognosis.
It looks positive. It's at stage 2, so it's spread from the initial location. But it appears to be a slow spread, and we should be able to get rid of all of it.
So the prognosis is positive. He said, look, he had noticed the lump on his thyroid before. He just didn't think much of it until, of course, they did the ultrasound of it and noticed that it was, in fact, lymphoma. He told a story about his mom was there with him when he got the diagnosis. Said it's the first time since he was a child that he cried in his mother's arms, which is very moving to hear that. I mean, anybody with a pulse would be moved by the story. But can we also play number 5? This is maybe the thing that you would say, hopefully, this is the positive thing that comes out of something like this.
This happens to everyone all the time in every walks of life every day. So for me to have the gall to think that I could get up here and be inspirational, I don't think that I could do that. I think that there's children in the children's hospital that are far more inspirational. Truthfully, I've had some smart people in my corner who've told me, look, regardless, you're going to get up and you're going to inspire millions. And that's just a part of what God's put on your shoulders.
And part of what Foster said is he hopes that him speaking out will encourage men to get tested, or all people to get tested, to go to the doctor. And, I'm going to take the liberty here for a brief moment. Look, I hope I don't in any way come across as sounding callous or anything. I really just hope that I use this opportunity to maybe influence someone the same way that hopefully Foster will. But, I'm 40. I'm about to be 41. And earlier this week, I went to the doctor, Dr. Curtis Chastain at Our Lady of the Lake Men's Health. And I did a full total physical, everything. From exactly what Foster Moreau had, where they ultrasound your thyroid and an echocardiogram, my heart, X-rays, a calcium test on my heart. To name it. It's a full head to toe, like looking through everything. And that's the reason why, because I know I'm not an old man, but I'm also at the age where sometimes things pop up, and I want to be around for my family forever. Not forever, obviously, but for as long as I possibly can. And so being proactive matters. And I would encourage you, if you're a man or a woman, even if you feel healthy, you hear stories, tragic stories all the time of people dying young. And if you'd been tested, something could have been caught. So hopefully you could take Foster Morrow's story or, tragedy earlier this week with Wayne Sims, dying at 54 years old. Men, women, just go to the doctor. Get checked. I was talking to Dr. Chastain earlier this week, and he said, look, there's two things primarily that will take you out before you get to your what your life expectancy is. And a lot of times it's heart disease or cancer. And if you're really proactive about seeking those things, like going into the forest and chopping down blazes, actively looking for it, you hope you find nothing, but you want to find it, because if it's there anyway, and you want to catch it early enough so you can do something about it. So I hope maybe it's Foster, maybe it's Wayne Sims, his passing earlier this week, or someone that in your life that unfortunately has died too young. Take the initiative to go to the doctor and get your health checked. It matters, and you can save lives doing it. Okay. Step off the soapbox. Let me knock out and it just, of course, great interview with Foster Morrow, nicely done by Michael Strahan. You can go on any of the Good Morning America social medias or their website, whatever, and you can see the whole interview. It's about the whole package is about 5 minutes. It's worth your time. Okay, it is After Further Review. Friday show is brought to you by Don Juan Cigar Bar, where we will be in 2 weeks for the first round of the NFL Draft for our companion show, which is presented by Rouse's live from Don Juan Cigar Bar. We're looking forward to being there. Hopefully you can join us, our entire staff, at Don Juan Cigar Bar for that Thursday, the first round of the NFL Draft for our draft watch party. Let me knock out a quick break. We'll wrap up hour number 2. Muso will have Tigers and the Pros. Stay here.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by ProCharge EV, ProChargeEV.com. We are halfway through the month of April. I've been telling you all this month, get to the website, ProChargeEV.com, ProChargeEV.com. There's a charger giveaway tab at the top. Click that tab. It'll take you 20 seconds. I mean, it's just a few lines. You fill out, if you own a business or a commercial building, ProCharge is giving away for free, no catch, 3 EV chargers this month to businesses or installing them at commercial buildings. If you're a law firm, if you're a car wash, if you're a gas station, if you are a grocery store, a restaurant, it doesn't matter, a doctor's office, a dentist office, it doesn't matter. If you're a business, commercial building, whatever it may be, ProCharge is giving away 3 EV chargers free installed this month. You can go enter online right now at ProChargeEV.com. Spread the word, ProChargeEV.com.
At Corval Toyota in Opelousas, you can get 3.99% financing on select 2023 models. And we also have a large selection of pre-owned inventory. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
I'm Chris Nakamoto, and here's what I'm working on for my stories on WBRZ Channel 2 tonight. The head of the Louisiana Department of Wildlife and Fisheries abruptly quit today after being linked to a bribery scheme in Lafayette. The advocate identified that unnamed official as Jack Montesset this week. The feds are now looking into the scheme, which has resulted already in one guilty plea. The governor weighing in today and has already named his replacement. I'm Chris Nakamoto from WBRZ. Watch more tonight on WBRZ Channel 2.
Each year, Guarantee Media hosts a radiothon to benefit Dreams Come True, the local organization that grants dreams to Louisiana kids suffering life-threatening illnesses and their families. We've interviewed these incredible kids, and their stories warm our hearts. And none of it would be possible without your help. So we're asking for your support in our effort to making more dreams come true. Each year, our Dreams Come True radiothon is powered by the Baton Rouge Clinic. Visit GuaranteeMedia.com to pledge your support today, and thank you.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all of that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, we are wrapping up hour number 2. We're glad to have you hanging out with us here. Teed up, number 12, Todd Walker with us in 10 minutes from right now to start hour 2. We'll talk some SEC baseball. We'll recap last night's LSU-Kentucky game and preview the rest of the weekend. So looking forward to having T-Dub back on the show. We'll get to that here in a few. Right now, the Muso has Tigers in the Pros.
Tigers in the Pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now. Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, where Baton Rouge gets engaged.
Special congratulations to former Tiger Darius Days, who today was named to the All-NBA G League second team, as well as the NBA G League All-Rookie team.
Hey, babe.
Solid first year. Even got some time with the Rockets as a two-way player. See if that increases a little bit as it goes along. Yeah.
What are we doing, guys?
I thought you were handling that. I'm sorry.
It doesn't sound better when you have multiple people clapping.
Of course, dude. The sound of applause is fantastic.
Now I'm the one lonely clapper out here.
Yeah.
The one lonely guy, like starting the slow clap.
Yeah.
You can't just start a slow clap.
It's better than the guy who like claps after everything ends just to be obnoxious. Like, don't be that guy.
Who does that?
Plenty of people. You've never just been in a crowd?
When anything ends?
Nah, like a play or I don't know. Things happen.
When I've been to plays, usually there's like a standing ovation because it's
well, yeah,
well
that's what I'm saying. And then like after it's done, there's that one guy who's just like,
who's still clapping?
Yeah.
Oh, the last clap.
Yeah, don't be the last.
Don't
clapper.
be the excessive clap.
Yes.
Like stop. We get it.
Yeah, you
We're
liked
done.
it. It was good. We all liked it. That's why we all clapped together.
Yeah, we did. We did.
That person annoys me. Alex Lang last night, another perfect inning of relief for the Detroit Tigers. His first save of the MLB season, his second save in his career. 1 strikeout, 10 pitches, 8 punch-outs for Lang. Get to some minor league. There it is. Let's get to some minor league baseball. High A ball, the Sky Carp. That's where you find Jacob Berry. Jacob Berry, 2 for 5, 2 home runs. Doesn't that just sound like Jacob Berry? 3 runs driven in and a run scored for him.
Can we do the Halle Berry song for Jacob Berry? Because years ago,
that'd be good.
Well, years ago, when Eric Berry was at Tennessee, they did an Eric Berry edit of the Halle Berry song, and they would do Eric Berry.
Are you just going to sing it over it?
I want to go Jacob Berry, Jacob Berry.
Okay, kind of like the Big Seal, Drew Hill.
Absolutely, we should have done that while he was here.
We should have done that while he was here. That is. We'll correct it and get it done for this.
Jacob
next
Berry,
week.
Jacob Berry.
That's pretty good. I like that. That's going to be funny.
See?
More high A ball. Cade Doty last night for the Vancouver Canadians.
Big Fave, I need you.
Yes.
I need Big Fave to do the edit. That's
1
what
for
I need.
4 for Cade Doty. He also scored 2 runs. Daniel Cabrera, big night, 1 for 4, a triple, 3 RBI. He also scored 3 runs himself, playing center field for the Erie Seawolves. One more here in minor league baseball, AAA. Hunter Fiducia, 1 for 2 last night for Oklahoma City. They have a boring mascot. They're the Dodgers. 2 RBI. He drew 3 walks and scored a run in that game. Hitting .316 on the doorstep is Hunter Fiducia. Some PGA Tour before we get out of here. Sam Burns currently through 17 holes in round number 2 of the RBC Heritage. He's 2 under par, 4 under for the tournament. He'll be around for the weekend, but has plenty of work to do as he's 8 shots off the lead. Ben Taylor will miss the cut after a 2-round 5 over. Curtis Thompson will miss the cut on the Korn Ferry Tour after 6 over today, 4 over for
You are
his.
such a hater.
I shouted him out yesterday for his 2 under. What are you talking about?
A hater.
That's Tigers in the Pros.
He misses a cut, and then there you go.
We talked about him yesterday when he shot 2 under.
Brought to you by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com. Gentlemen, if you're even thinking about popping the question, before you go shop anywhere else, shop Lee Michaels, lmfj.com. You go to the website, hit the engagement rings tab right there at the top, and you will see their gorgeous, gorgeous selection of the highest quality diamonds, the best price. And remember, when you go to Lee Michaels, you always get the Lee Michaels experience. lmfj.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. All right, y'all, Sports Center staring you straight in the face. Get you caught up on national headlines. And Todd Walker joins us to kick off Hour 3 next.
AFR.
Was at Traction over this morning right there on Burbank. And what I can tell you, man, I want to make sure that I'm clear about this. I talk all the time about Traction and where champions are made. And I tell you, I'm over there working out and there's pro athletes on the field and there's high school athletes on the field. And I don't want you to be intimidated because at Traction, it's all about, no matter where you are in your fitness journey or if you're an athlete, it's all about helping you get to be the best version that you could be, to maximizing your physical ability. So if you're a youth league or high school player, Traction can help get you bigger, stronger, faster. If you're a professional athlete, of course, Traction is there for you as well. But maybe you're someone like me. You want personal training or you want group training. Traction can help with that as well. TractionSports.com. Go to TractionSports.com. Remember, check out their membership options for your youth athlete in any sport. It's at TractionSports.com. Traction, where champions are made.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust poll of the day. Vote daily inside off the bench, anytime. Hunt Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the poll of the day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $15,000 off all new 2022 1500 SCA trucks. And all new Bayou automotive vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
Not only did she tell us, but this young lady, stand up. And this young lady won our
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Clash of the Cooks Jambalaya Showdown is back.
Join us on Saturday, April 22nd
at the Ochsner Medical Complex at The Grove. We've got cooking teams of pros and joes serving up their best jambalaya and Cajun Creole dishes, all while helping raise dough for local families battling cancer. Bring the whole family for great food, live tunes, and good times. Clash of the Cooks Jambalaya Showdown presented by Ochsner.
Saturday, April 22nd at lunchtime. Help us paddle it forward. For tickets and more information, go to clashofthecooks.com.
All right. Hey, what's up, y'all? It's that time again. It's heating up. Your boat's getting ready to come out and spend all summer on the water. It's time to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service, where if you want an incredible custom speaker install, it's going to blow people away in the water, that's there for you. You want an HD sonar where you can see the fish under the water before you cast, beat all your friends, that's there for you at front-to-back boat service. So don't put it off. We got the parts in right now. Get them now before they go back on back order. Front-to-back boat service.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walker.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Theriot with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Theriot and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. There's an NBA play-in doubleheader tonight. Coverage starting at 6:30 Eastern on ESPN Radio. The Heat host the Bulls. Then the Timberwolves host the Thunder. That second game also on ESPN TV. The playoffs get started this weekend. Kevin Durant and the Suns open their first-round series at home against the Clippers Sunday night. ESPN's Nick Friedel.
They better do it now because they may not get another great chance that's in front of them at the moment. And I can tell you, haven't been around that group the last few weeks. There is a confidence around them with Kevin, knowing that they believe he's the final piece in the moment.
Nick Friedel on Greeny. ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski reports Knicks forward Julius Randle hopes to be on the floor for Game 1 against the Cavaliers tomorrow. He's been out for 2 weeks with a left ankle sprain. The San Francisco Giants will sign opening day starter right-hander Logan Webb to a 5-year, $90 million contract extension.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. At Progressive, they're making things even easier. They'll help you bundle your home and car insurance together so you can save on both. Learn more at Progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
That's right.
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. I'm Matt.
You're a loser, Matt!
Shut up, kid. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Yusuf. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you are driving home with us. We are 90 minutes away from first pitch. LSU and Kentucky Game 2. Our guy Todd Walker will teed up. SEC Network, LSU legend, of course, here to talk a little ball with us. How are you, Todd?
Great, Matt. I love that intro, man. Always love that intro.
I love how much you love it. Hey, are you still in Charlotte?
I actually am. Yeah, I did the studio last night. We got a studio show tonight after that Tennessee-Arkansas game on the SEC Network.
Hey, before I talk LSU, since you brought that up, what's your thought on what Vitello's doing, shaking up the rotation?
It kind of feels like he has to, but I'm a big believer in talent, man. And those three guys, Chase Dolander, Chase Burns, who's got, a 6 ERA right now?
Yeah.
Drew Beam's doing like he normally does. But those other two guys, Dolander with a 4 and Burns with a 6, you keep rolling them out there, they're eventually going to get it done. And I think he's trying to kind of pull them out, mix it up, and ease them back in. But those are the three that are going to get it done for him if Tennessee makes any kind of run this year.
Look, man, if LSU's going to make a run, Todd, it's going to be on the back, obviously, of Paul Skeens or on the right arm of Paul Skeens. Look, I mean, you're in an era where you followed Ben McDonald, obviously, at LSU, but certainly could remember watching him pitch as a collegiate arm. Can you put some context on what we're seeing? I mean, Todd, we're all lacking, or we're running out of the superlatives, right? But can you put some context on what we're seeing with this guy?
You know, you mentioned Ben. I pitched my second game of the year for Airline High School in Alex Box way back. Ben was still on the team at LSU, and I got all up in his locker hoping it would give me good luck, because I was starting that game against, I think it was Rummel.
Nice.
Rummel High School for the state championship. I got blown up, so it didn't work. But
sorry to hear that.
You know what's crazy about Paul Skeens is at Air Force, if you look at his numbers, I mean, he had the 2.7 ERA, but he was a 3-to-1 strike-to-walk ratio. Now he comes over to LSU, and it's 10-to-1. And the microscopic ERA, how did he do that? And we talked to him last night on the show, and he said his body has changed, and clearly he got after it. He kind of understands the college game now in his third year, and so you figure things out. But ultimately, you come play for LSU, man, it's different motivation. And it'll cut the legs out from some people, but it'll motivate and elevate other people like Paul Skeens obviously has. I mean, the fastball is electric, the slider, and then ultimately he can throw pitches and counts that hitters aren't looking for. And you got to gear up for that fastball. So when you're geared up for let's call it a 1-0 fastball, and he drops the slider on you, you got zero chance. And so, that's what velocity does for you. But he's a big kid on the mound too, so that's deceptive. I remember stepping in the box against guys, and immediately I felt jumpy because they were bigger presence on the mound, and you knew who they were. And so before he even throws the pitch, it affects the hitter.
How would you approach Skeens if you were in the box against him?
You go after the first fastball he's going to throw around the plate, and you don't miss it. I mean, if you take it on the outside corner for strike one, or you foul it off in some capacity and you get behind, I always said, these pitchers are strikeout pitchers for a reason. They get to 2 strikes on you, and they're going to bury you, whether it's an elevated fastball, whether they're going to paint it on the in or outside black, or whether they just drop that slider on you when you're geared up for the fastball, like I just mentioned. But he's accurate enough with velocity that I feel like I haven't been in the box against him, but I feel like most of these hitters are constantly having to guess. And if you guess wrong, you're out.
Todd Walker is with us on Twitter at ToddWalker12. Of course, LSU and Kentucky game 2 tonight. Todd, do you know Kentucky's going to start Logan Martin. Any idea how LSU's lineup may match up against Logan Martin?
Good grief. After last night?
Fair point.
Matt, you start dancing around Dylan Cruz, and they didn't even dance. They just gave him a free pass. You lose. Yeah. You're not. It ain't going to work. And I know he's hitting 5'10". But you got Tommy White and you got all these guys behind him that'll pick him up like you saw in the first inning. So first thing is they're going to have to attack. Logan Martin didn't get out of the second inning. Yeah, I think he pitched into the third last week. And 3 weeks ago, same deal. Didn't get out of the third. So Darren Williams had to come in and bail him out. So the answer is I think you're going to see a lot of fireworks like you did last night.
Yeah. Do any concern? Gavin Dugas is not in the lineup. Leah Van just posted the lineup. Any concern? Ben DePolt will start at second, so that's the change. Everyone sort of moves up a spot in the lineup. Any concern with what missing Gavin Dugas as your table setter does to this lineup?
It's a big deal, even though they do have hitters that are sitting the bench. Did they say what the injury was?
It's a shoulder. His shoulder popped out when he dove last night.
Yeah, so just dislocation.
Yeah.
So it's going to be loose for him the rest of the year, even if it gets back in a couple of weeks. He's going to be dealing with that. I feel like Jay Johnson's going to put an offensive guy there. If Napolt doesn't hit, I don't care how great he picks it at second base. If he can't hit, they'll put Paul Skeens there. They're going to put an offensive guy there. I promise you that. And, we talked about that last night. Remember, Paul Skeens hit 400 at Air Force 2 years ago. He hit 24 home runs there in 2 years. So Duke can hit. So whatever they figure out, Skeens goes to third, move third base from second. I don't know. But Jay's going to put an offensive guy there. They're going to obviously give Napolt the first shot at it. But if he doesn't hit, they're going to find a hitter.
Man, your other option, Todd, might be Gavin Guidry, the freshman from Barb, who was a shortstop. And everybody assumes is going to be the starting shortstop next year. But he's become such a valuable piece for them right now out of the bullpen. Do you tinker there? Like, do you put him in the field considering what he's meant to this team as it's lost arms?
That's what I was just going to say, Matt, is that, Ackenhausen's out from what I understand. Garrett Edwards out. Chase Shore's out. Because of that, I don't know if you do. It's something that you'd have to internally evaluate. But again, I don't think you need this great shortstop guy to play second base. You need a hitter.
Todd Walker is with us again on Twitter at ToddWalker12. LSU and Kentucky game 2 coming up a little more than an hour from right now. Todd, before we let you go, when you look at the landscape of the SEC, I think we might have thought LSU's record in conference play would be better than it is right now, just considering all the hype. But there they are, consensus number 1, and the schedule certainly lightens up. Do you think LSU has enough pitching, considering the injuries, which we just talked about, and also the struggles that Floyd and Thatcher Hurd have had staying consistent? Do you think LSU has enough pitching to ultimately win a national championship with this team?
I do, because Ole Miss did it with 2 guys. They did it with Dylan DeLucia and Hunter Elliott.
That's fair.
And they went 10-0 in the postseason. Now they fit some pieces in there that did well, but ultimately it was 2 guys. So what that tells you is you need 2 guys. You got 1. So Ty Floyd, I really like. He's been erratic at times, but I think, if they keep throwing him out there, he's going to figure it out and settle down. I think Christian Little really wants to start, and I think he's going to take this and run with it. I saw him as a 16-year-old kid in the SEC tournament go 7 and just mow through some guys. So I think Christian Little has a lot of talent. I think he's going to be motivated to start because he feels like that's where his draft status will be at its best. So I'm just guessing, but I think he's going to love that opportunity and do well. But you're going to find a second guy out of this rotation somewhere. And along the line, Hurd's going to figure it out too. Again, if they're not that talented, then you don't know. But when you're that talented, eventually you're going to figure it out. I think you're going to find out that a guy like Thatcher Hurd will get hot here somewhere along the line if they allow him to, and you'll just have another arm that you can use. But they need 2 guys. They've got 1. They got to figure out the second.
He is the great Todd Walker. You catch him on the SEC Network with the coverage tonight. Tennessee-Arkansas is the SEC Network game. LSU-Kentucky is on Plus tonight, but we'll certainly be locked in. T-Dub, we appreciate it as always, man. We'll visit soon.
Thank you.
All right, man. Be well. Great stuff there from Todd Walker. It's funny. I've asked everybody this week that same question. Does LSU have enough pitching to get to Omaha and win it? And that's the first person to mention Ole Miss. Todd's the first person to mention Ole Miss a year ago. And, he's right. I mean, DeLucia and Elliott were it. Now, Elliott's hurt this year. I mean, he's on the shelf for the season, which is a big part of the reason why Ole Miss is where it is. But man, they raked. They had great leadership, and they had 2 good starters and rode them to an undefeated postseason. I mean, yeah. For me, I just we're all waiting, but I gotta believe. Maybe this is nothing more than just hope that I'm trying to just will it into reality. But Floyd, Hurd, especially Hurd, I gotta believe at some point this year they round into form. I just can't look at Thatcher Hurd throwing 95, 96 with the off-speed stuff that he has. I cannot look at that stuff and think, yeah, Wes Johnson's not going to figure out a way to maximize that guy. It just, of course, I got to believe that's going to happen at some point this year, that it's going to round into form and he's going to be that guy. So hopefully it happens at the right time, and maybe this is the time of year to get that confidence when the schedule does lighten up, as we've talked about a good bit so far. Okay, it's after further review. We're glad to have you aboard with us here. Let me knock out a quick break. As we mentioned, the lineup is posted for Game 2. We'll get into that a little bit here. And I want to delve into draft needs versus wants for the Saints, and not necessarily just what are the needs and what are the wants. We've done that plenty, but what is the Saints' approach going to be this year? Is it going to be needs or wants? We'll touch on that coming up. We're glad to have you aboard with us here. Don't you move, it's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Rouse's always has weekly specials, so I would highly recommend you check out Rouse's on social media, check out their weekly ads. Their truckload sale is going on right now over at Rouse's. Some amazing deals. I mean, you're talking about boneless sirloin tip for only $2.99 a pound right now. Orange, gold, and red bell peppers for 99 cents. Centerloin pork chops for $1.47 a pound. My goodness, the deals they're slinging right now at Rouse's are incredible. And as always, if you want crawfish, live or boiled, why would you go anywhere else, man? They got the best prices you'll find anywhere at Rouse's. The volume they do, they can give you great prices. So go to Rouse's. If you're having your own crawfish boil, they'll sell you the live sacks. If you want someone else to take care of it, Rouse's will boil them for you. You can always just walk in, grab and go. It's at Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Rouse's, this feels like home.
At Corval Toyota in Opelousas, you can get 3.99% financing on select 2023 models. And we also have a large selection of pre-owned inventory. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
Hey, it's Matt Musso. Join me Monday through Friday for your daily update on LSU baseball with Musso at the Box, presented by New Orleans Flooring. Wherever you get your podcast, Apple, Spotify, Google, and check out New Orleans Flooring. 2 locations, Metairie and Prairieville, or NOLAflooring.com.
The world's leaders in obesity research, obesity medicine, and obesity science are right here.
We're doing something that no one's ever done, or trying to answer a question that no one's ever asked before.
Pennington is a real jewel when it comes to research.
We are finding the solutions to the world's worst chronic disease, which is obesity. Louisiana needs Pennington Biomedical.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Another Louisiana player is planning to enter the transfer portal. As a reminder, the second portal window opens Saturday, tomorrow, for college football. So some players have already declared their intention to enter the portal when it officially opens tomorrow. Caleb Etienne is the latest. He's from Warren Easton in New Orleans. He's currently at Oklahoma State. He actually started all 13 games at left tackle for Oklahoma State this past season, and he's now jumped into the portal. Oklahoma State added a left tackle from Texas State, and there was some thought there that maybe that transfer portal addition may overtake Etienne as the starting left tackle. So I don't know internally if the writing was on the wall, if there were conversations had, like, hey, maybe you should leave. I don't know any of that. What I do know is Brian Kelly has targeted Louisiana players, especially Louisiana players with experience. And a year ago, they went to Oklahoma State and got Jarek Bernard-Converse, a fourth-year player, to transfer into LSU and start it. Now, Caleb Etienne was the left tackle at Oklahoma State. LSU's got a pretty good left tackle. I don't think Will Campbell is going to be supplanted. So is it a situation where you target that guy and say maybe come in and add some depth? But if it's just depth, why wouldn't he just stay where he is, where he started last year? Might not be the best circumstance, best situation, or best fit, but a guy that's 6'7", 330, who's played a ton of football and started 13 games last year at Oklahoma State. If you're LSU, you make a phone call, right? You make a phone call and you get a visit. We've talked about it. LSU needs depth on that offensive line. You get experience depth. Fantastic. We'll see if that's a piece worth keeping an eye on. All right. Let's have further review. As we mentioned, the LSU lineup is posted. We'll run through it and kind of go into some detail in the next segment. Of note, Gavin Dugas is not in the lineup. Ben DePolt is going to start at second base for Dugas today. We'll go deeper into that coming up in the next segment. Over at ESPN.com, they have Matt Miller has one of their draft analysts has a piece up right now where he essentially looks at all of the first-round draft picks, each team's first-round slot, and says, what is the biggest need at that spot, and makes a pick. And then he looks at what's the best value at that spot and makes a pick. And I'm not gonna tease you or bury the lead or anything like that. So for the Saints, if you look at the projected, the biggest need, he has the Saints taking Myles Murphy, the defensive end from Clemson. As far as the best value, Brian Breesy, the defensive tackle from Clemson, still on the board. He said that would be the best value. Either way, he's got the Saints addressing defensive line at both need and value at that spot. Now, need is undeniable. We've talked about it a ton. The Saints need interior defensive players. Value could come in a lot of different ways. The bigger question isn't what's on the board at that time. It's in this particular draft, how are the Saints approaching the draft with the 29th pick? Is it need or is it value? And that varies. Here's what I mean. People always ask, hey, do you draft need or do you draft best available? Sometimes it's best available at position of need. But really for the Saints, what their history has shown us is it depends on the year. For example, last year, the Saints had 2 first-round picks. They took Chris Olave and Trevor Penning. Let me remind you, the Saints signed Jarvis Landry in free agency, and they had Michael Thomas coming back off of injury. The Saints did not need a first-round draft pick wide receiver. Now, we saw the injuries that happened to both Jarvis and Michael Thomas. Understand, how it played out. But on draft day, you didn't need a wide receiver. That was a luxury at that point. But they took the guy they felt was the best receiver in the draft, where they did. You took Trevor Penning. Your starting 5 on the offensive line was back. You didn't need a starting offensive lineman to come in. They didn't even really have Trevor Penning for last year because of injury. You didn't need him. But you saw great value, so you drafted value at that spot. 2021, Saints took Peyton Turner late in round 1. You had Cam Jordan. You had Marcus Davenport. You had Carl Granderson. You didn't need a defensive end. You took who you felt was the best available player at that position. They thought that, now look, we have the benefit of hindsight now looking at Peyton Turner, 2 injury-plagued seasons where he hasn't done anything. But that wasn't drafting need. That was drafting what they thought was the best player on the board at the time. Flip side of it, the previous 2 drafts, the Saints used their first pick on offensive linemen. In 2020, it was Cesar Ruiz, and in 2019, it was Eric McCoy. They needed offensive linemen. That wasn't even debatable. When they took Ruiz, a lot of people looked and said, why are you taking Cesar Ruiz? Why are you taking an offensive lineman? Everybody wanted a linebacker. A lot of people here wanted Patrick Queen in that spot. They took the offensive lineman. Well, we found out the next week because they cut Larry Warford. They cut Larry Warford in a cap-saving move, and, days after the draft, and we figured out why. Oh, okay, that's why they took Cesar Ruiz, because they were getting rid of Warford in his big contract, and he was plug and play. Okay, I get it. Eric McCoy, remember, Max Unger suddenly retired. You had to get a center, so they drafted Eric McCoy. They didn't have a first-round pick, used their second-round pick. That was a need. You didn't have an option. You were drafting a center right there. 2018, they traded up to get Marcus Davenport. They didn't need a defensive end. They saw a guy that they had highly graded falling in the draft, so they got aggressive and went and got him. I could look at 2017. Marshawn Lattimore. They were taking Lattimore. Sean Payton said this on the record. They had Lattimore and Patrick Mahomes, both graded in their top 5. And they're sitting there at 11 knowing we're going to get either one of these guys. So they stayed pat. KC jumped him, took Mahomes. They took Lattimore. They got who they felt was the best cornerback in the draft at 11. They felt they were over the moon. Value. In that same draft, they took Ryan Ramczyk at the end of round 1. They didn't need a right tackle. Zach Strief was their starting right tackle. Now, Strief got injured in that training camp and never played again. And Ramczyk's been your bookend right tackle. Has been awesome. He's been an anchor. But you didn't need him. You just had him graded as the best tackle in that draft, and he was sitting there at 32. You're like, taking that guy. Okay. Need, or value, not need. Alvin Kamara, round 3, that same draft. The Saints had Mark Ingram, and they signed Adrian Peterson in free agency. They didn't need a running back, but they saw Alvin Kamara sitting right there. They went, got to get that guy. Value. So the Saints have shown you over their history, they draft value more than anything. They're going to take the best player at any position that's on the board. A year ago when they took Alontae Taylor, y'all, they didn't need Alontae Taylor. You had Marshawn Lattimore and Paulson Adebo coming back. You didn't need Alontae Taylor. Remember this before they traded C.D. Deuce. You didn't need Alontae Taylor. You didn't need a cornerback. But they're sitting there around 2 and went, that's a dude. Got to have him. And now that made it easier when Adebo got hurt, when you traded Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, because you had that dude. But that was value. The Saints draft value. Unless they have a glaring need. When Max Unger retired, they needed a center. They got Eric McCoy. When they drafted Cesar Ruiz, it was because they knew they were cutting Larry Warford the next week. The Saints knew that. And they needed an offensive lineman. Now, we all thought Ruiz would play center, McCoy would kick out, but it was Breeze's last season. He didn't want to rotate a center again for the 3rd consecutive year, so they left good and well alone. McCoy stayed at center, Ruiz played guard. We all know how it's played out, but the point is they knew they were getting rid of Larry Warford, and they needed a starting caliber offensive lineman, and they got one in the draft. This year, the Saints need interior defensive linemen. Like, that's not a want. That's not a luxury. That is an absolute must-have need. I'm going to say it over and over again. I can look at the Saints' history and know what they are looking at the top of this draft, and that is interior defensive linemen. The Saints draft, look, I just ran through it. Peyton Turner, Cesar Ruiz, Eric McCoy, Ryan Ramczyk, Marcus Davenport. The Saints draft linemen anyway. I'm good with that. Build through the trenches. But you got to draft interior. Because right now, the 2 free agent acquisitions you have on the defensive line doesn't even replace the 3 interior players you've lost to free agency. So you would better go and draft with that first pick an interior defensive lineman. That is your need, and that's what I expect they're going to do coming up 2 weeks from yesterday. All right. Man, been a good show. If you missed it, if you're expecting to hear Theriot, and it's 5:30, a lot of people just getting off work, maybe getting in the car. Theriot was here in hour 1, had to leave and coach a baseball game, so weather moved their schedule around. So he was here in hour number 1. So if you missed Riot Radio Hour, go back and listen on demand. AFR On Demand presented by Breck Golf. Book your tee time at golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org. Love telling you about Michelli Weighing and Measurement. It's Michelli.com. Was chatting not long ago with Joel McMullen over at Michelli. And one of the big focuses, of course, last year was their 75th anniversary. And one of the things that they focused so heavily on in their 75th year was growth and expansion. They expanded their precision measurement device labs and their calibration services in many different parts of the country. Their Harahan office, their New Orleans office, their main office, they added a 6,100 square foot lab for precision measurement device calibration and testing. Their Houston, Texas lab, Baton Rouge, Bossier, Alabama, the Mobile area. They expanded so much of these precision measurement device calibration lab and testing areas. The point is, 75 years in business, they're not content. They're still growing. They're still expanding while maintaining their family-owned and operated banner and doing business face-to-face with a handshake and a smile. It's Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Go to Michelli.com. That's Michelli.com for Michelli Weighing and Measurement. All right, y'all. It's after further review. We'll knock out a break. I I'll see if Otter has any picks for us. I know there's no Otter locks, obviously. Jimmy's show is early on Fridays, but I'll see if Otter's got any picks to wrap up the show. When we come back, we'll run through the starting lineups been posted for LSU and Kentucky game 2. We'll run through it. Let's hear what Jay Johnson had to say about Kentucky's starting pitcher tonight, who they're going with, Logan Martin, for the Wildcats. So we'll get to some of that when we come back next. And one other little tidbit about the Saints' schedule for 2023 that you may find interesting. We're going to get to that. We're glad you're with us here on a Friday edition of AFR. Coming down the home stretch. Stick around.
AFR.
Man, I love telling you about River City's 1 Hour Air. I mentioned it to you. I got a call just yesterday from River City's 1 Hour Air. So I always encourage you to join their member club. You get front-of-the-line service. You get member pricing on any repair work that may or maintenance that may be done. And the standard maintenance, the seasonal maintenance that I tell you about all the time, the AC tune-up, the heater safety check, those are complimentary services. So in a sense, being a part of the membership club pays for itself because of the complimentary maintenance you get on that seasonal maintenance. Anyway, and River City's 1 Hour Air, when you're a member, calls you. They called me yesterday to schedule my seasonal maintenance. It's River City's 1 Hour Air. Before you go into the summer months, before we hit triple-digit temps, call River City's 1 Hour Air. Let them tune up your home central AC to make sure it's running efficiently for this coming warm weather. It's River City's 1 Hour Air, 752-0001.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Bayou Ford has $2,000 off MSRP, plus 2.9% APR for 84 months on new 22 Ford Expeditions. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Clash of the Cooks Jambalaya Showdown is back. Join us on Saturday, April 22nd at the Ochsner Medical Complex at The Grove. We've got cooking teams of pros and joes serving up their best jambalaya and Cajun Creole dishes, all while helping raise dough for local families battling cancer. Bring the whole family for great food, live tunes, and good times. Clash of the Cooks Jambalaya Showdown presented by Ochsner. Saturday, April 22nd at lunchtime. Help us paddle it forward. For tickets and more information, go to clashofthecooks.com.
All right. Hey, what's up, y'all? It's that time again. It's heating up. Your boat's getting ready to come out and spend all summer on the water. It's time to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service, where if you want an incredible custom speaker install, it's going to blow people away in the water, that's there for you. You want an HD sonar where you can see the fish under the water before you cast, beat all your friends, that's there for you at front-to-back boat service. So don't put it off. We got the parts in right now. Get them now before they go back on back order. Front-to-back boat service.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walker.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green. This is Ryan Theriot with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Theriot and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly
after further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, we are rolling along here on a Friday edition of AFR, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. You're going to hear us mention a lot over the next couple of weeks, but again, our NFL Draft Watch Party is at Don Juan in Town Center. Again, coming up on Thursday, that is the 27th. So not this coming Thursday, but the following, 2 weeks from yesterday, we'll be at Don Juan. Our whole staff will be there. We'll do the live companion show. So if you can't be there, watch the draft along with us on the Watch 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel. And if you're in town, come join us out at Don Juan Cigar Bar. We appreciate our friends over at Don Juan. Okay, LSU baseball. The lineup is posted here for LSU against Kentucky. Before we delve into that, here was Jay Johnson on Logan Martin. This is Kentucky's Game 2 starter who's getting the ball tonight for the Cats.
They use him as an opener, so he'll be in there for 2 or 3 innings. He's a really good fastball, gets it up to 96. He's got some good arm side run, kind of comes at you a little bit, maybe a little more reliever-ish, but he can kind of empty the tank because they don't ask him to go more than a few innings. And then they'll turn the ball over to some other guys. And I have a lot of respect for how they use their players and their pitching staff and do a good job. And if you look through their pitching numbers, they're really, really good. Yeah. So we'll need to be prepared for a few different guys. Obviously, getting through tonight with a win is great, and then it kind of allows us to reset and have a little better idea of who we're going to see.
Yeah, Logan Martin on the season, who'll get the ball tonight. 5 appearances, all starts. He's got a 3.32 ERA, 19 innings pitched. He's got 23 strikeouts, but 9 walks in 19 innings pitched. So last night, LSU abused Kentucky's generosity, I should say. Kentucky walked 10 batters and hit 5 more. You put 15 guys on base. You're just gifting this LSU team runners on base. It's a recipe to allow 16 runs, which is what LSU scored last night. So if you remember, Jeff Drummond from Cats Illustrated was with us yesterday and kind of laid out this sort of approach for Nick Mingione and the Kentucky Wildcats. It is a by-committee approach. So Logan Martin will get the ball. He'll give you probably a couple of innings. I would assume Darren Williams will get the ball. That's who we were talking about yesterday, the 7th-year player he's from Eastern Kentucky, right? Yeah, 7th-year guy from Eastern Kentucky. So big kid. He's got a 3.31 ERA as well. They'll just pass it off to the next. So, if you're LSU and you get into a game like this where you're going to face a parade of relievers, the key is not to allow the one guy to shut you down for 3, 4, 5 innings in the middle of the game. But you want them to keep having to go to the bullpen to the next guy. So see if LSU can get the series win tonight against the Kentucky Wildcats. Here's how LSU is going to line it up. So the big question, of course, was going to be, what about Gavin Dugas? Theriot was here in hour 1, spoke to Gavin yesterday. Gavin said, no big deal. He feels fine. The shoulder popped out yesterday when he was diving for a ball. No history of that, but hopefully they get him back quickly. The only, we look at sort of comparisons. Happened a year ago to Cade Doty, and it cost Cade time at the end of the season, obviously, to get him back in the lineup. If I'm not mistaken, we didn't see Cade again until regionals, wasn't it? He didn't play in the SEC tournament. So, yeah, we didn't see him until regionals when he played against Southern Miss. And then, of course, earlier this year, literally Tommy White's first at-bat of the season, he got a knock, was on first base, diving back into first base, separated his shoulder. It was slow to come back. He was in the DH role until he was comfortable back at third. If there's one difference, of course, Tommy White, that was his throwing shoulder. And with Gavin Dugas, this is his left shoulder, his glove, or was it his right? It was his right. Okay, it was his throwing shoulder. I'm replaying it in my mind, unfortunately. But yeah, so it was. Yeah, you were at the game. We had the benefit of replay, and I'm watching him sort of barrel roll on the field, and it's like, oh god, exactly what it is. But what were y'all thinking during the game? Were you still? I would assume you're still there at that point.
Oh, of course. My initial thought was separation. Don't like to speculate on injury either, but that was kind of the way he reacted to it and the way the trainer reacted to him as well.
Yeah.
He walked off just, with it tucked to his side, so he was able to move it at least, so I didn't think there was anything broken.
Well, Dugas isn't going to be in the lineup tonight, but hopefully this isn't a long stint. The big question, I think, becomes if Gavin Dugas is out for a while and before he can get back onto the field, do you let him hit? Do you let him DH? So if you let him DH, this creates some problems, right? Because then you're removing either Beloso or Jones from the lineup. You could certainly keep Trey Morgan in left. You would DH Dugas, and then Beloso or Jones would be at first. I would presume whether you wanted the lefty or the righty. And then Ben Napolt is going to play second base. By the way, let me run through how they're going to line it up before I get into some more of those hypotheticals that may happen down the line. It was interesting when Todd Walker was with us earlier this hour talking about Jay getting another bat in the lineup. I don't know who that would be. I mean, do you have a thought? I mean, jump in. I don't know. If you're thinking just get it. I mean, unless if it's Gavin Guidry, I don't know.
I mean, not at second base. I can't think of another guy on the team who you could just insert in there a bat.
Yeah,
it's mainly the defensive guys left there right now.
I mean, and there's enough offense on this team.
Correct. Yes, I agree.
I'm okay with Ben Napolt being in at second base. Again, I don't need a great second base isn't a premium defensive position. You don't need a great glove. It's the shortest throw in the infield. You don't need a great glove there. You need someone who can knock it down and throw it to first. Yes, you have to turn the double play, but I'm fine with Napolt there. Sand's a better option, which I think the better option, the better all-around option would be Gavin Guidry, who has the potential to bring a bigger bat, but I don't know that you can risk anything with Gavin Guidry at this point, not having him in the bullpen as short of arms as you are.
I agree with that, but also throwing him into SEC play and be like, go hit that pitching when he hasn't taken a lot of at-bats this year, I don't love that either. I would put that akin to the guys coming back from spring football in the middle of SEC play and be like, hey, go do it.
The one thing I'd push back on is we don't know what he's been doing in practice.
That's fair.
I mean, are they doing inter-squads? Is he seeing live pitching? And if you're seeing live pitching from LSU's guys, you're still seeing good. So, but we're again, this is a premature conversation.
Yes.
I mean, it's possible Gavin Dugas could play tomorrow, and all of this is moot. But it's just something that we'll have to potentially talk about. Anyway, so here's how they're going to line it up today. Basically, everybody just moves up a spot in the lineup. Trey Morgan is going to lead off from the 2-hole. He'll lead off now. Dylan Cruz moves up to the 2-hole. Tommy White moves up to the 3-hole, and Cade Beloso will bat cleanup. Jared Jones will bat 5th. Joe Bear 6th. Thompson 7th. Ben Napolt will bat 8th, and they'll keep Milazzo there in the 9-hole, catching again for the second consecutive night. This is something that we talked about yesterday. This is a series where it makes sense for Milazzo. Kentucky is a team that they lead the SEC in runs. They lead, in stolen bases. They lead the SEC in sacrifice bunts. This is a team that wants to get guys on and get them over and run and steal bases and do whatever they can to disrupt the pitcher and take advantage of opportunities that present. Milazzo is your best defensive catcher, the best option to control the opponent's running game. So this is a series where it makes sense for Alex Milazzo, and he's obviously hit the ball well this year as well. He had the walk-off knock last night, which allowed LSU to run rule Kentucky in the 8th. So no surprise. I don't think anyway that's a surprise that they would stick with Milazzo for tonight. I mean, I'm certain we'll see Brady Neal again. I mean, we might even see Brady Neal in Game 3, but it makes sense for Milazzo to be in there right now. So Morgan, Cruz, White, Beloso, Jones, Joe Bear, Thompson, Napolt, Milazzo is how they'll line it up tonight with Ty Floyd on the bump. You know, the only other thing that I considered, and today on Morning Scone, we were talking about this a little bit and what they might do. The one thing that I considered, and maybe this is a very foreign idea, but it would have been leading off with Beloso, because you'd been leading off with a guy that, like Gavin Dugas, has power and can leave the yard, a guy that can hit to all fields, a guy that will certainly take a walk and will certainly wear one. And a leadoff man's job primarily is make the pitcher show everything and get on base. And Cade Beloso has done that. Do you know offhand his on-base percentage? I'm not looking at it.
Not offhand. I don't know it.
He's got to be.
It's up there. I mean, I would say it's at least close to 440 or somewhere in that range.
So if you let off with Beloso, you could keep everything else in order, where you could go essentially Beloso, Morgan, Cruz, White, and then you would essentially, I would say, put Jobert in the 5-hole as protection behind White, and then you could go with Jones and Thompson and Napoleon Milazzo. So it keeps the middle of your order intact with Morgan, Cruz, White, 2, 3, 4, which I would really like to look at that. But I don't hate this as well. I mean, Trey Morgan can handle the bat. He can hit to all fields. He can work a count. He strikes out the least of anybody on this team among the regulars. So Morgan in the leadoff spot is perfectly fine. And Dylan Cruz in the 2-hole, typically the 2-hole sees more fastballs than any other spot in the lineup. And then Tommy White behind Dylan Cruz still provides that type of protection, and Cade Beloso has been great. So how they line it up here makes a lot of sense. LSU is a really good lineup. It's going to be hard for Kentucky or anybody to handle this lineup all season long. Of course, you could always run into a really good pitcher on a really good day, and the offense can struggle. As we've seen this lineup at times, hit some speed bumps. But I don't know that this Kentucky team is the one to slow down this LSU lineup, even without Gavin Dugas. But taking your table setter, your leadoff guy out of the lineup, we'll get a look at how it might impact them tonight when LSU and Kentucky throw out the ball here in about 45 minutes for first pitch, 6:30, LSU and Kentucky for Game 2. Have we seen any weather updates for tomorrow? I'm sure you've been keeping an eye on it. Oh, my God, there's a flood watch for tomorrow.
I was about to say, don't look.
The weather. There's a flood watch tomorrow. What are we doing? Rain starting. Rain. So real quick, rain starting at 6 a.m. Just to finish the point. Hang on. So rain starting at 6 a.m. Thunderstorms. The chance of rain increases throughout the morning. 1 o'clock is the scheduled first pitch. 50% chance of thunderstorms. Now it does clear at
around 2-ish.
No, it's showing around 4.
Well, that's not great.
But if it clears around 4, then you could still get the game in. What you wouldn't want to do is start it and stop it.
Correct.
Well, actually, with Christian Little on the mound, he may give you an inning or two anyway.
The interesting thing, and look, I don't exactly know the rule of when a game can start the latest on getaway day, but it looks like Kentucky drove. Their bus is here, and it's not like a rented bus that picked them up from the airport. It says Kentucky.
It says Kentucky on it.
It's their branded bus. Why they drove, I don't know, but they did.
Long drive,
so
dog.
Maybe that factors in too these days. I don't know.
I think the travel thing is for Sundays when you have school the next day.
Which would make sense.
And I may be remembering that incorrectly just from over the years, but I don't think that's the factor here. If Kentucky is planning to stay the night anyway, like I don't know if they're, busing back Saturday night. I don't think they would do that anyway. Like get up Sunday and get on the bus. But hopefully they get it in. I mean, look, for as much as we all sort of collectively talked about last week, the missed opportunity of playing the doubleheader on Thursday to get 3 games in, you'd have to point the finger right back at LSU for missing this opportunity if they end up only playing two this weekend. So, and this is one that is inherently gettable for you with Kentucky being here this weekend. Okay. It's After Further Review, brought to you by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Bluebonnet in Baton Rouge, Ambassador Caffrey in Lafayette. Online, theantiagingclinics.com was there earlier today. Of course, home run replacement therapy is something we tell you about every day. It is their benchmark. It is their staple. It doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman, whatever the age, the number of your age is, it's more about how you feel. And sometimes, and I'll tell you this was the case for me, you don't know how bad you feel until you start feeling good again. You just become accustomed to living a life where you're sluggish and achy and sleepy and not motivated. And then when you feel energized and rejuvenated and rested and strong, and you're like, oh God, this is what I've been missing. The Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. One simple blood test can let you know if you're a candidate for hormone replacement therapy. It could change your life. It could change the way you feel every single day when you wake up. Learn more. TheAntiAgingClinics.com. TheAntiAgingClinics.com. All right, final segment. We'll knock out our final break of the show. We'll come back. Otter did send me some picks. They a winning night last night on Otter Locks. Thank God. We needed it. So we'll get to Otter's picks when we come back, and we'll put a button here on a Friday edition of AFR. Thanks for being here. One segment to go. Don't you move.
AFR.
Brought Brought to you by Darren James and Associates, brokered by eXp Realty. Every home listed by every company, all in one place, agent225.com. That's agent225.com. Go to the website. You can see all of Darren's listings right there. If you scroll down a bit, you'll see the real estate featured properties at agent225.com, and I tell you all the time, it doesn't matter if it's a $100 million home, $100,000 home. Darren will have a way of making you feel like you are his only client. The first home listed there is on Audubon Lakes in Baton Rouge at $1.2 million. There's a home in Baton Rouge for $250,000, a home in Denham for $649K on a beautiful piece of property. This gorgeous home for $1.4 million, Laurel Lakes Avenue. It doesn't matter the size, the scope of your home. Darren is going to make you feel like you are his only customer, and he gets results. Wall Street Journal lists the top 1,000 realtors in America. Why on earth would you hire anyone else than Darren James? Call Darren James. Get your home sold.
Think real estate. Think Darren James.
Each year, Guarantee Media hosts a radiothon to benefit Dreams Come True, the local organization that grants dreams to Louisiana kids suffering life-threatening illnesses and their families. We've interviewed these incredible kids, and their stories warm our hearts. And none of it would be possible without your help. So we're asking for your support in our effort to making more dreams come true. Each year, our Dreams Come True radiothon is powered by the Baton Rouge Clinic. Visit GuaranteeMedia.com to pledge your support today, and thank you.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all of that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Clash of the Cooks Jambalaya Showdown is back. Join us on Saturday, April 22nd at the Oshner Medical Complex at The Grove. We've got cooking teams of pros and joes serving up their best jambalaya and Cajun Creole dishes, all while helping raise dough for local families battling cancer. Bring the whole family for great food, live tunes, and good times. Clash of the Cooks Jambalaya Showdown, presented by Oshner. Saturday, April 22nd at lunchtime. Help us paddle it forward. For tickets and more information, go to clashofthecooks.com. All right.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Down the stretch, we come final segment here on a Friday edition of AFR, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. We'll get some Otter locks here. I texted the Otter, and he did send me 3 picks. So last night, thank God, we did have a winning night. Thanks to Colucci. Colucci gave us the Devils, and that hit. Otter gave us the in-game on the Cincinnati Reds, who were down 1-0. We got it plus money. They ended up winning 6-2. So, heady play there by the Otter. The loss was the consensus play from Otter and Hanny, who had the over in the Blue Jays-Tigers game. The over was 9.5. The final was 3-1. So, they combined for 4. Didn't even sniff the over. But 2-1, a winning day. We're plus money. And onward and upward. 3 plays today. The Otter in the NBA likes the Miami Heat. And as I look at it right now, the Heat are -5, so he likes the Heat -5. He likes the Minnesota Timberwolves -5 at home against OKC. Feels like we're playing with fire there. And then Major League Baseball one play, he likes the Rays on the run line. So with the Rays, you're laying 1.5 right there. The Rays, of course, have won 13 in a row to start the season. I don't know that I'm super bullish on this play. On the road.
Which one? The T-Wolves or the Rays? All of them. Wow.
All of them. Anyway.
You just hate it all.
I hate all these plays. I'm going to play them all because I'm rolling with the Otter. But I hate all 3 of them.
Do we know who's pitching for the Rays? I should. They just swept the Red Sox. I should know where they were on their rotation.
It is Rasmussen.
He's pretty good. Oregon State.
Against Barrios. Got to see him up close. All right. We're getting out of here. Muse, Paulie, appreciate you. Learn anything today, Muse?
Todd Walker tried to use Ben McDonald's college locker for good luck. Didn't work.
It didn't work. Lost to Rummel. State championship game. Paulie, what'd you learn?
I learned that Florida can't score against Florida.
That's true. What'd you learn, Matt?
Theriot is a troll, and Javen Coleman, 96 miles an hour.
AFR.
We're brought to you by Mold Zero USA, MoldZeroUSA.com. As we get on down the road, my pleasure to tell you about our friends over at Mold Zero. Get to the website, Mold-ZeroUSA.com. That's the best place to start. Listen, it's going to rain all weekend. Well, not all weekend. It's going to rain Saturday. And the combination of wet and humid, breeding ground for mold, okay? If you have mold, think you might have mold, other pathogens, Mold Zero needs to be your call. They got a 225 and a 504 number. So you go to the website, you can see it. Now, listen, it doesn't matter if you're not one of those area codes. They service all of South Louisiana. So no matter where you are in South Louisiana, Mold Zero will come to you. Mold-ZeroUSA.com. Don't worry about cutting sheetrock. We're talking about a minimally invasive procedure here at Mold Zero. In and out, most times in a day, less than a day. Learn more. Mold-ZeroUSA.com.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there.